There are a lot of mysteries in life. Who ate all my snacks? Why are women not impressed by my juggling? And what's a unique ancestry that I can bring to my next TTRPG game night? The answer to those questions are, I ate my snacks. They are impressed, but you should have a wide variety of hobbies and interests. And you can find unique ancestries with Battlezoo and their Year of Mysteries. Every month in 2026, Battlezoo delivers a fresh, bizarre, and lovingly unhinged ancestry straight to your inbox. Get ready to spice up your D&D or Pathfinder game faster than a wizard's bad life choices. Why settle for elves again when you can play as 13 unique and bizarre ancestries, such as a grumpy Sasquatch, a sea serpent with anger issues, or a dinosaur person, a guy ceratops, a girl-velociraptor, a human saurus rex. You don't have to use any of these names, but you do get to play as a dinosaur with a great sword, and that seems awesome.
But Jack, this is the Year of Mysteries, so let's get mysterious. With each new ancestry, every month you'll also find a puzzle. Solve each and input the solution at battlezoo.com to slowly reveal the year-long secret and become a seeker of mysteries. There's a leaderboard for puzzle solvers, and if you solve all 12, you'll earn a free prize as you unlock the final truth, as well as one last secret you can add to your games. What could it be? The color of my underpants?
Mine have pictures of fish on them. Head on over to yearofmysteries.com and start uncovering the clues today.
I can juggle for a long time.
It's time for Roll for Combat.
Here we are once again. It's the same spot, same places. Mark is busy typing away. I am busy. Oh, you moved my camera, so now I'm not.
Well, we should
anymore.
say who we are. Steven,
I know, but
right?
I'm moving my camera because Derek screwed up my thing. Because
now no, you moved it.
No, you moved it. You moved it. All right, we both moved it. I'm gonna blame Derek. Who are we? Who is this? Who are you? Who am I? Where are we? What's life? Go, Mark. Answer all those questions.
Well, let's see, 42, I guess. But that's more than just life. We are Roll for Combat and also Derik. So that is. I'm Mark Seifter. I'm the director of game design at Roll for Combat. Damn. I do the writing and the game design. Steven over there is our publisher. He does the business. He does the layouts. All that other stuff that isn't the writing that's super duper important, or you would not have books with just a writer who has no way to get the books to you. Mm-hmm. Derik is one of our most prolific guests from Knights of Last Call, who also sometimes helps us out at conventions and is genuinely all around good guy.
He's a cool dude.
All of that is true except for the last part.
Yeah, maybe so. I realized as I was saying it that you might not agree with that, Derik.
Derik's a cool dude.
I do all right.
Okay.
Sometimes he has hot takes that are a little bit much, and he will even admit that. But
yeah, the thing is that here's the thing about me and opinions and hot takes. The difference is I don't have the presumption to assume that I actually believe that what I'm saying is applicable to anyone else, let alone, the vast majority of people. So for me, I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's my personal take. But do I think, that that's the way that role-playing games should be? No, I'm just saying that's how I feel, but I don't necessarily want to enforce my viewpoint on others, except for fudging. I don't like fudging. And I think if you're fudging, you're doing it wrong. But other than that.
All right.
Get your camera fixed.
My camera. Well, I'm fooling around with your camera too. Because you're way off to the left.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because I took my camera to PAX and I threw it on the tripod and it's not.
Did you use it at all? Nope. Not once.
No, we didn't stream at all.
But it was worth having just in case. You know what? Every time I go to one of these things, Linda and I always bring one or two extra, just in case we do X, and we never do X. We always collapse. But we think that we might do X.
Right. It's nice to think that we might actually stream or play a game or do anything of this stuff.
It's there to dream and to feel good about it. Just like for 90% of groups, 20th level is. even though I'm in the 10% that does play at 20th level, for a lot of groups, it's aspirational. And it's a dream to imagine more than something they will actually reach before scheduling the true BBG of all time destroys their campaign.
I got
you did it, Steven.
I had to have the studio running for it to work.
There you go. I don't know.
That is very unusual.
Is it strange?
It is strange and unusual. So
top seller.
Top seller. PAX U.
Yeah, that did so well.
I figured out what happened, by the way.
Should we talk about PAX Unplugged a little bit?
Let's talk about
first,
PAX Unplugged. But next week, we're going to have Jack Packard on, who had to fill in today at this exact same time. He's doing a live stream, and he had to do Yahtzee Croshaw took off today, so Jack had to fill in for him. So Jack will be on next week.
Oh, that explains it, because I thought it was going to be Jack's
he had to do an emergency fill in. So
that's a good rhyming thing, Jack's PAX.
Jack Packard's going to talk all about his PAX U experience, and Derik appears to be in an earthquake right now.
Yeah, he kind of is. So all of you might be surprised to know that two of our top sellers at PAX Unplugged were, in fact, Battlezoo Best Series Strange and Unusual and the special edition 5e version of Classic Creatures, but not the regular. This is for a very important and big brain business move that Steven made, which is forgetting to bring the regular edition of Classic Creatures 5e.
That's right.
And forgetting to bring the original Battlezoo Best Series, so only Strange and Unusual was there.
Because we had them as boxes, Derik. We were going to bring the whole box. And throughout the shuffle of moving things around, we probably accidentally took those boxes and put them back instead of putting them on the cart into the car. So my lesson to be learned is just put everything into the vinyl and don't even bring boxes.
Right. That is a good lesson to learn.
Yeah, that was a good lesson to learn.
Because when you got back to the place, did you find those boxes in the front?
There. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Right. Yeah, because that makes sense. We would have brought an entire box of Battlezoo Best Fury, and we probably would have brought an entire box of Classic Creatures, because those are definitely top sellers.
Yep. And we didn't, and that's what happened. Well, we brought some, but some we didn't bring on, and we had so much stuff going on in the unit that it just became a mess. So future Steven will only bring books that are loose in our plastic tins, which is
just nice. You can see everything. You can
great. It was so nice, and it was so easy for cleanup. How quickly, Mark? How fast do you think Derik and I were able to pack up the entire booth and put it into the car? What do you think?
Once it was to the point that Linda and I left, where it was all almost done, I'm going to say 20 minutes.
10 minutes.
15, actually.
Wow.
15. It was like 15.
It was so quick. It was crazy. Well, it was when we left, there was a line 3 blocks long of people waiting to get their car. So then Steve and I went and got sushi. And then we came back after 9 o'clock. There was no line. We literally just drove up the ramp right to our booth. I mean, like right to our booth.
Right to the booth. Like literally, we were in the booth with the car. That's how close we were.
And then it was just put the 2 tables in, slide in the plastic things, no boxes, because we obviously sold all that stuff. The plastic bins are half empty, and throw a couple of the big black box in there, and that was it.
Yeah, we were done. And half the van was empty too, which was nice. So
yeah,
that's pretty rad.
Yeah, and then we got the car, got it from the valet, went to the convention, filled it up, and came back so fast that the guy was like, "Didn't you guys just leave?" I was like, "Yep, that's how quick it was." So
yeah. By the way,
I'm glad that it worked out well for you guys. Our train was actually delayed.
Oh,
but it wasn't even delayed by that much. It was like a half hour, but when the airplane gets delayed by a half hour, which it does like all the time, you're at the airport so early that it just doesn't register. It's like, okay, fine. I already had to wait for hours. Now it's another half. Whereas at the train, since it's so convenient, normally you really feel that extra half hour, I guess, more, but it still was fine. And we made it back fine.
And by the way, if you ask questions, I can now make them come up live like that.
Ooh, especially if you super chat.
Well, your topic has really drawn in the vast crowds.
No, I know. We got 34 people. We got
35 people.
We would have had 35 people on anything because it's the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So, but Steven, you've said that there's actually a major kind of conflict about dinosaurs and D&D. I want to hear about it, because as far as I know, there's people who love dinosaurs in their games and people who don't care.
Yeah.
But
So-
I want to hear about the people who don't like them, but who are like, no,
Oh.
this is the worst. I've never
Oh,
seen
I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a
anyone
lot.
except for Derek, and
Oh,
Derek
where'd
just
Derek
doesn't like
go?
anything that
Well,
wasn't in
Oh,
Tolkien.
put your hand down. You messed up the
No,
layout.
because you have your like AI gestures turned on.
What?
What? I don't even know where that is.
But I don't know, but you have them turned on in your meeting room. So like if somebody raises their hand, it's gonna then it does this. It see?
Didn't do it for me. I guess
no,
they just don't count.
Yeah, so anyways,
I didn't turn it on. That's
AI is terrible.
you think I did that on purpose? No, I didn't do that.
I don't like dinosaurs in my TTRPGs, with one exception. Isle of Dread / world the time forgot. Land that time forgot. Maybe like an inner world, hollow
which
earth
is
type
one
thing.
of the classic tropes for dinosaurs in your TTRPG. Like
Right.
to be clear.
But like I don't like just like, oh, hey, Stegosaurus is walking down Main Street, down Absalom Avenue or whatever. I'm not a big fan of that.
All right, well,
I mean,
because I remember
but you're okay with dragons, but Stegosaurus just breaks your aversion.
No, I just don't think that they're particularly cool. I mean, they're just
Fair enough. You
they're
just don't like them.
They're just another big dumb creature with hit points. Like I like fantastic creatures, and there's nothing fantastical to me about dinosaurs.
Well, if you like fantastic creatures rather than basic dinosaurs, there is Paleo Games, which are like kind of a friend of the show. They've sent their books to Steven. They've been on the show before. Puts out the Dr. Droland's Dictionary of Dinosaurs and Professor Primula's Portfolio of Paleontology, which has the scientifically accurate stats for the dinosaurs, since they are paleontologists who are writing it, but then always have a variant that are like, let's make it like wildly fantastical for some reason. And you would probably want to run the wildly fantastical ones. I've seen someone online in a Pathfinder Reddit who was like, this one is good, but always run the wildly fantastical ones because they make it more fun.
So when I was a kid and we would look at dinosaur books, dinosaurs in D&D. I don't know. And this is a time when we all loved dinosaurs and we thought dinosaurs were cool. But again, it's like, it's not just, I don't like dinosaurs in D&D. It's like, I don't like ninjas. I don't like samurai. I don't like...
Is that you?
No, it was my group. And they just didn't like anything kind of real worldy,
historically anachronistic. Yeah, I can understand that. I can actually understand that. I can actually see that.
Yeah.
It's funny because in chat, a user named Volcano specifically didn't want to have dinosaurs in RPGs. And I wonder if Volcano is just bitter that the volcanic eruption that happened around the time of that major dinosaur extinction did not actually kill off all the dinosaurs. They're just like ancient rivals from 65 million years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, again, like in the grand scheme of things, like I like, for me, I like fantasy because I like embracing the fantastic. One of the things I don't like about modern RPGs is the sort of, I don't know, the regularization of things that are fantastic. Like, I don't want a fantasy creature like, putting on his top hat and going to work like that. It makes it too normal. And I don't like things to be normal. I like for things to be fantastical. And so that's why I've always loved things like rust monsters or gelatinous cubes or any of those weird creatures.
The rust monster was based off a dinosaur.
Yeah, and we have that in the super chat. Super chat. David Perry said in OD&D there were little plastic dinosaur toys that had weird creatures in them and included the original monster manual, Rust Monster and Boule.
All right, well, show me the dinosaur that had feathery appendages that instantly turned metal to rust, and I'll say that dinosaur is pretty cool.
There you go. See, it's like a magical version, like the ones in Dr. Droland's. Kikalderiak.
Wow, we got a super chat specifically for Derek and Derek only.
Yeah, Kikalderiak 5904 said, "Is this still Mech Week? No. Can we get a Mech Warrior Destiny conversion for dinosaurs who wouldn't want to ride a T-Rex with PCCs?"
Well, it should say PPC, particle projection cannon,
but it doesn't. It says PCCs. It's a different thing.
It's a particle cannon.
It's a player character cannon.
The player cannon. Yes, it shoots out player characters.
Your PCs had the other mechs, and then It deals extra
I
damage.
mean, he misspelled
Oh,
it.
no, he misspelled. Okay.
It's PPC. It's part
So
of
you're going to do that tonight or tomorrow, Derek? You're going to be doing
No, it is
Dinosaur.
not. Mech Week is finished. We finished.
Mech Week is finished.
We finished on top. Yeah. I mean, that being said, I mean, I if you want to do mech versus dinosaur, that's go ahead. Although I think that a dinosaur would get pretty fucked up by, in
I feel like a
LRM
mech
20.
would have a huge advantage against the dinosaur.
Huge advantage. I mean,
Depends on
for
the
starters,
dinosaur.
But in chat, Volcano suggested mech versus Tarask. I think that's more of a fair fight.
yeah, that is true. Like I think a T-Rex was like what 4 or 5 tons. Yeah, they were
like that. And
yeah.
I mean,
mechs-
it depends on what mecha you're
Sure.
talking about. Some of them are smaller, but most of them are much more than
What about a
much.
mecha
Yeah.
dinosaur?
There are
versus-
dozens and dozens of tons, up to 100 tons.
What
So,
about a mecha dinosaur versus a mech?
what is a mecha dinosaur?
A mech that looks
Dinosaur
like
that
a
is a mech?
dinosaur.
I mean,
like
that,
Transformers, Beast Wars, dinosaur.
Yeah, Transformers more.
I'll be honest with you. Growing up, I was never a Transformer fan.
Sacrilege.
I did not.
You're
I
too
did not.
young. That's why you're too young.
No, I was born in 1982. I mean, there were definitely Transformers on the TV.
I
No,
was
I know,
born
but you were
at
like-
a time after Derik when Transformers were still around, but I just didn't get into them as much as some other people. But I am aware of them.
Yeah, Transformers was never my jam. Neither was G.I. Joe. I like He-Man.
G.I. Joe.
I also watched He-Man a lot when I was younger,
I
Derek,
actually
more than
didn't
G.I.
like
Joe.
any of
But I
that.
still know that knowing is half the battle.
Also, I
Nope.
am not a Godzilla fan. I
Oh.
don't like the new movies. I don't like the old movies. I think they're boring as shit.
Well, they are, but
I mean,
back
they
in the
are,
day when you're in the 80s when you had nothing else to do and you were sitting around, they were great.
Yeah, I don't. No, I would just
I think that's probably true about a lot of the 80s
Oh,
movies
yeah, right.
that
That's most
Steven
of life,
likes.
really, yeah.
I mean, is that
Oh.
why D&D was so popular in the 80s? Is because everybody
Yes.
was bored?
Yes, it literally is. I mean, that's why a lot of things are popular. That's why drinking was so popular. That's why, it's like because they had nothing else to do.
Well, I've told this story on my stream before, but when I grew up in the late 80s and the early 90s, my older cousin, who was about 10 years older than me, and my dad's youngest brother, my uncle, who was about 20 years older than me, kind of took me under their wings as after I learned how to play basic D&D, and they said, "Oh, you're going to come play, you're going to come play in our AD&D campaign now, and learn at the skirts of the masters." And it was awesome. It was great. And then circa 1994, 1995, their entire group broke up because all of them were like, "We have video games now. This is better." And like they'd been playing D&D since the mid late 70s, and they were all just like, "Nah, we have Diablo. We have these good. We have Baldur's Gate.
Warcraft, yeah.
We have Warcraft. Well, not World of Warcraft yet. That wasn't until 2004, but
Right.
and they were like, "We're good."
No, that's
And
exactly what happened. I mean,
And the group broke up.
for the first time ever. They just recorded that more people smoke pot recreationally than drink alcohol, which is never ever. That's how.
Well, there was kind of a massive decriminalization effort that swept across the country.
Oh, I know, but that's still kind of stunning because that's how, drinking was always such a massive part of culture for 500 plus years, mostly because it wasn't safe to drink water. So you'd have to drink, kids.
Oh, I think it's a lot longer than 500 plus years.
Sorry, it's 5,000. I said 5,000. 5,000.
Yeah.
He meant 5,000,
I
but
meant
he did say
5,000.
500.
I said 5.
Yeah.
I meant 5,000. But yeah. Anyhow, dinosaurs. So back to my original thing. is
Yeah, what's
that-
your thesis here on the people who hate dinosaurs?
No, it's that they just don't. They want fantasy. And okay, actually, I was talking to Derik about this. Remember, Derik, you and I were talking, and I was talking about.
We got
I
a lot
haven't
of
mentioned my brother in
conversations.
a while, but I'm going to mention my brother. Is that when he does costume design, is that if he has to have something from, say, Adidas or Nike, he will go to Nike and he'll ask them to give him clothes that don't exist. So they will literally they have thousands of pieces of clothing that they make that will never go into mass production, but it's clearly their brand. And the reason they do that is that they don't want you to be taken out of the movie. So they very rarely, unless there's a specific purpose, they will always put in products that you can't buy anywhere else. You literally can't buy anything you see that is branded with a specific brand. And the directors don't want you taken out of the movie because imagine, I don't know, someone's supposed to be a multimillionaire and they're wearing a T-shirt that you own. And you're like, hey, wait a second, I own that shirt. I'm not a multimillionaire. So they don't want any of that. They never want you taken out. I think the problem with Dinosaurs is that it takes you out of the fantasy because suddenly you're like, it's one thing to argue of what a dragon might do. But if you're starting arguing, it's like, well, it's like arguing over what a camel might do or what a dog might do, it's like, or what a cat might do. It's like, okay, we might not know exactly what dinosaurs did, but enough to get us into trouble. And suddenly you're taken out of the fantasy, you're taken out of the world, and you don't want that. You don't want to be taken out. You just want to be completely immersed in the fantasy. And I think that's also why they didn't like ninjas or samurai or, knights. Well, to be fair, I think knights in D&D were pretty close in a lot of ways, especially OD&D, which was pretty brutal. Is that it was a lot, it was pretty close to what we thought, medieval, and medieval's so long advanced.
Well, to be clear,
so
most campaigns were fairly, Eurocentric fantasy.
Right.
And, if I was playing in a, pardon the horrible term, but if I was playing an Oriental Adventures campaign and I had samurais and ninjas, I don't think that would be weird.
No. I was talking about OD&D,
but if we're playing, lords and ladies and very Eurocentric medieval fantasy, generic, with the Tolkien-esque, and all of a sudden, ninjas show up and attack me. Yeah, I think that's a little bit jarring. I that's one of my complaints about Galarian is that, you're like, oh, you're in this land where there's mammoths and dinosaurs, and then you like cross a mountain range and suddenly it's like androids and aliens, and you're like, that is a little bit of a whiplash. I don't think I'm too far off of that. I love that.
No, that's generally correct because it's the same culture of people who live in both of those areas, Kelids, but the one that has the
dorkiest answer of all time. Thank you, Mark.
The one that has all of the weird sci-fi stuff is because of a giant crashed spaceship.
Right.
It crashed on that side of the mountains.
I love that place.
And it's been self-replicating some of the stuff off of the spaceship ever since.
Mm-hmm. That was a great campaign.
Which campaign?
What was that one?
Strange Eons? No, it's not Strange Eons.
But Stephen, I wanna know if I'm encapsulating your thesis here correctly, which is that dogs and camels are completely real, and dragons are completely fake. But the dinosaurs are the uncanny valley between completely real and completely fake, where we know enough about them, but not quite enough.
Yeah, I think that's actually true. I think that kind of fits for me.
That's your thesis.
Because I will say this, to Kadrissa, I generally speaking don't like to use a lot of real animals either. Particularly because when I use like wolves and bears and stuff like that, like I'm not trying to say like I'm some hyper simulationist grognard, but like the idea that like a pack of wolves is just going to randomly attack a fully armed caravan of people and then fight to the death is just ludicrous. So, for me as an enemy, animals are fairly not easy to use because I'm like, I'm very like old school coded in that way where I'm like, yeah, maybe they attack you, and if they don't like kill somebody and drag them away in the first round, they run away. Like, they're they're not going to sit there and fight, for the death. Basically.
We talked about this on an Arcane Mark video recently about tactics and the tactics that actually make sense for creatures to take versus the tactics that sometimes people use in games. And Derik, you're spot on. What we mentioned, when people get mad about like a wolf flanking or a wolf doing certain things, it's an animal. Like wolves are incredibly tactical compared to like bad players who don't use tactics. But in the first place, they probably wouldn't have even attacked in an encounter where they didn't have a huge advantage.
Correct.
And so you have to think, so like on the one hand, yes, they definitely would flank. But on the other hand, the GM is already making them not act like normal wolves because they chose to attack this group that by the way the game's encounter building is working, they had a bad edge on. And these kind of predators, they need to win every fight of their entire life or it's over.
Correct.
And so they cannot afford to fight when they don't have a huge advantage first. And they understand how to gauge things well enough to do that. And even if they didn't, they would back away like immediately after the first round when there was clear signs of players fighting back. If you were playing with animals that were acting like normal animals, that was like one of the main things we talked about. But we also talked about other things for tactics of more intelligent creatures.
Well, and that's where like my sort of trick is. That's where I'll introduce some wargs, or I'll introduce some sort of evil druid, or I'll introduce some kind of like curse, some botanical curse or affliction. The wolves are being converted into like undead animal, whatever. Basically, what can I do to make them into more of a fantastical creature is what it really comes down to. Oh, these wolves are being controlled by an evil druid, and they're not acting like normal wolves, or they're wargs, which are basically fantasy wolves, with an actual malign intelligence. That to me just becomes a lot more interesting. But I do think Mark's assessment of Steven's point is actually right on, is that dinosaurs exist in this very strange, uncanny valley for me, where they're clearly real. They were real, and they are real, I guess. I don't know. They were real. So they're very much a real animal, but also not. And so it's this kind of, and again, which is why I only like to use them very specifically in these kind of, land that time forgot, Hollow Earth type situation, Isle of Dread. If we go to the Isle of Dread, dinosaurs, great, cool. But just like everyday dinosaurs, not a big fan.
So my other big issue was that I actually did run a campaign with tons of dinosaurs, and that was the Circus Adventure from Paizo, and in that
Extinction Curse,
and it was
aka the most bait and switch adventure path of all time,
pretty much. And it actually ended up, the end it got cooler. It's just I wish they started it cooler like that. It ended up being in a good place. It just took.
Steven liked the bait and switch actually more than the original theme.
Yeah, well, it got pretty neat. But anyhow. So we got to fight a lot of dinosaurs in that campaign, pretty much all of them. We went through the whole book. There was nothing left. And the big problem is that they weren't that good. It was and that also was disappointing because I want dinosaurs to be big and badass and kill everyone. And they were kind of boring monsters.
I will say
they were boring.
I will say I was a big fan of summoning celestial T-Rexes from the summon monster. I think it's 7 or 8.
Back in D&D 3.5.
Oh yeah.
Oh well,
they were
that's
big.
A whole different level.
They were big. They hit hard in one hit.
Yes.
With the smite that they got from Celestial.
Correct. They had a lot of hit dice, so they got a lot of bonus damage. And then because they were so high hit die and they were Celestial template, they had the wings, they had the resistance to fire, cold, lightning, they had immunities. They were very nice to summon. Trust me, I have been known to summon D3 or D4+1 Celestial Triceratopses. That was a hard hitting mother. There was this progression, right? You got the Celestial Dire Tigers or whatever they were. Those things were really powerful. And then you went up to the Dinosaurs. Those were really good.
Yeah, Dire Tigers were good because even if they had to move, they did a lot of damage.
They could pounce, right?
And the advantage of the T-Rex was because it only had one attack and the damage was in there, it didn't lose much if it had to move as well. Because your summons usually were going to have to move. Correct.
And the T-Rex was all front loaded. Pardon the pun, but it was all it was all in the one big bite. And I think it had a swallow whole.
So I'm talking about the Pathfinder 2nd edition dinosaurs.
Can I be honest with you? I didn't even know Pathfinder 2nd edition had dinosaurs.
They had them all, and we fought every single one that there was, and they were.
It has a few,
or
it does have them all with the buffs I mentioned before.
All right, I'm gonna go to Nethys and I'm gonna take a look at these. This is how great. Were they in Bestiary 1?
I don't know.
Maybe. Some of them are in different bestiaries.
Yeah, I mean, all I remember is that the T-Rex was level 10, and they killed it so fast. So I was like, "That's it."
By the way, someone mentioned in thing about Dinotopia. I will say this. I will add another exception to my hatred of dinosaurs in D&D, which is I like them in Land That Time Forgot, but if they are fully integrated into a society, right, where you don't have oxen or horses or beasts of burden in that way. Instead, you have a world where the dinosaurs kind of became the sort of default creature. And
so Droon, the lizard folk empire in the south of Garoon in Golarion.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
don't
gonna-
know that one as well, but
Well, they've never been spotlighted fully in a book, but they've
Okay.
been mentioned. They're a lizard folk empire that Iruxi empire that have tons of dinosaurs that they hang
yeah,
out with
like if you could
as their
imagine,
normal beasts of burden.
right? Like if you could imagine, like a big, cargo brontosaurus, right, with like a big howdah and giant saddlebags and like cargo nets hanging off the side of a brontosaurus. And again, that's very impractical, I'm sure, from like a
I
weight
get it.
ratio and all this other
But
stuff.
the Dr. Drone's book literally had brontosaurus howdah rules. in it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So-
Yeah, basically the Flintstones universe. Yes, exactly. If like dinosaurs become they basically domesticated dinosaurs. If we have domesticated dinosaurs, that actually is kind of cool. And yeah, like you have raptor knights or whatever. You have knights riding, ankylosauruses or something like that. That's kind of cool. But that gets into one of my biggest pet peeves, which I will bring up here in a minute.
It's not
Which
the
is-
clocking out and then the dinosaur saying it's a living, like in the Flintstones. Wah, 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 wah.
So I am going to bring
Oh,
up
man, wow.
this should come as a surprise to nobody, but there is a game that did dinosaurs really, really well, and Derik approves of them. You know what it is?
Cadillacs and dinosaurs?
No. 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Of course.
So
Actually, I do remember those
So
dinosaurs being
in
really
4th
good.
edition, here's what I liked about 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
They didn't call them dinosaurs; they called them behemoths, and they didn't have names like Tyrannosaurus. They had names like, and they didn't have names like Triceratops. They were called a trihorn, or they were called a bone crown, or a mace tail, or a blood spike, or a spire horn, or a skin wing instead of a pterodactyl. And I liked that because it made them feel like bringing a Latin dinosaur name into my fantasy world feels very anachronistic, right? Because it's like Tyrannosaurus Rex means terrible lizard king or whatever. And it's like, but we don't speak Latin here. Like, I know, yes, there's probably all sorts of Latin influences in our normal words, but like that is
There's
just
also a ton of Latin influences in many fantasy world
Of course.
names for a variety of characters. Like
But-
you can't go far through Taldor without like tripping over some somewhat Latinish names.
I guess my example is, let's say that in a fantasy world, you had some sort of communication device, okay? That, whatever. You might call it an Ansible, or you might call it a crystal receiver. But if you call it a telephone, I think it's going to feel very out of place. It's going to feel weird. So I liked with 4th edition where they called it a bone crown behemoth, and they were called behemoths, and rather than being called dinosaurs. So if you had a world that was built around these kind of idea of domesticated behemoths, I think that'd be kind of cool.
In a world with domesticated behemoths.
In a world where dinosaurs have become domesticated.
Oh, I get it. I mean, I've written a lot of small things that they mostly only do with my own group, and one of them, the dinosaurs were definitely not called dinosaurs. It was like what you said. I put some nods to it, so it might be somewhat familiar. Like when people heard that there was something called like the jungle tyrant, that turned out to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but in the world it was called jungle tyrant, and it was a type of other thing. And we didn't use dinosaur or Latin names for any of
All
them.
right, so for the rare times that I put on my design hat, I'm going to now also explain why dinosaurs suck in D&D and Pathfinder. So, when you make a monster, my number one pet peeve whenever I see monsters, especially for our books, is they must have ranged attacks as well as melee attacks. If they don't have ranged attacks, then they need magic, but they need some way to attack from range. If they can't attack from range, and it's extremely rare, then they have to be absolutely devastatingly powerful up close. Now, the T-Rex has a reach
Unless
of-
they're low-level creatures.
I'm talking about-
to be clear.
Right, and most dinosaurs
But
tend
a lot
to-
of dinosaurs aren't. They're high-level
Right.
Yeah.
creatures.
So you have
Yeah.
a T-Rex. It's 10th level. It does have a reach of 20 feet. It is 20 by 20. It's gargantuan and has a huge reach. But it doesn't matter because they're also 10th level, and people have a million ranged options. So this T-Rex, because it's based off something real, which doesn't have any ranged attacks unless you add some magic to it or something weird, it is so easy. Anything with just melee attacks is extremely easy to kill, especially as you get higher level. And that's another problem with things that are, quote, realistic. Now, if you're fighting wolves at level 1, that's fine.
Right.
You know, like that's okay. But when you're fighting dinosaurs at level 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and they don't have ranged attacks.
So that's probably another way to put it, though, then, Stephen, right? Is that the idea of basically the normal animal or beast or whatever really falls off quickly with level. And most traditional animals in RPGs, you know, are pretty much relegated to, I would say, the lower to lower mid levels.
Correct.
But not dinosaurs.
But not dinosaurs, because they're well, and that's also part of our zeitgeist understanding of them, right? Like, you know, that they're supposed to be. It'd feel weird if a T-Rex was level 5.
Yeah. But the thing is,
I mean, granted, it feels weird that a human and knight in plate armor and a sword is fighting a T-Rex full stop, but, you know, we'll ignore that.
Yeah. But so, I mean, that's really the big issue whenever you try to convert these.
And what happens if you make a dinosaur and you make it appropriate for a high level character? Like, oh, well, it needs to fly and probably should have some sort of range attack. Maybe it breathes fire. And then what do you end up with? A dragon.
A dragon. Right. Exactly. It's like, okay, that's called a dragon. Right. And that's the problem.
Or a half-fiend Tyrannosaurus Rex. I actually had a villain that was a half-fiend Tyrannosaurus Rex in a 3.5 campaign who like led a cult of himself. And it was actually terrifying because of a very stupid reason, but that I'm sure both of you are familiar with 3.5 enough to be able to guess this, but maybe not everyone watching. In 3.5, the number of hit dice that a creature had was often very different than its challenge rating and especially if it was a big giant brute like a T-Rex.
Right.
T-Rex had so many hit dice and its challenge rating was very not low, to be clear, it was mid.
Right. But it had a lot of hit dice.
When you became a half fiend, you gained powers based on your hit dice, including a blasphemy ability that killed everything with a certain number of hit dice lower than you.
Correct.
Which meant that the half fiend T-Rex was, and there was no save, was guaranteed to wipe an entire party that was of an appropriate level to fight it.
Cheers, Mark.
If unless they had a silence spell up or were out of the range of the blasphemy or had some other very specific countermeasure.
Yes.
So by the way, someone wrote.
It's like it reminds me of like CR5 like zombie like ogres or like zombie giants that had like 60 hit dice and stuff. But yeah, because that hit die progression of half fiend, I remember this very well, was basically tied like hit die equal level. Right. So it's like it went up to 20 hit die, as I recall. So yeah.
No, it's not. It's a template.
No, that's what I'm saying. But no, it's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The progression of what you would gain went up to 20.
Correct.
And
like
T-Rex has already had in 3.5 D&D, like,
let's see,
close to that.
So by the way,
and they were like level. They were like CR.
They had it. Yeah, they had a Tyrannosaurus in D&D 3.5 was a CR8 and had 18 hit dice.
See, it was nearly at the maximum.
Right. So that means that from like the perspective of a half fiend template, this thing was basically being treated like an 18th level character. So that's why it had the ability to summon Monster 9, cast Horrid Wilting, cast Unholy Aura, and yes, Mark, Blasphemy. And
that's right.
You know what, Mark? My hat's off to you, sir.
And I think that didn't half fiend only add like 1 or 2 CR to it.
I think it was a plus. I think it was only a +2.
Yeah, so I think that was considered a CR10 opponent.
It depended on the hit die of the creature. Okay. So yeah, so when it was a hit dice was 11 or more, it was +3. Okay,
so, yes, you're right. So it was a
CR11
that would instantly kill
basically like level 12 or lower creatures,
something like that. Or no, it may have been that if you were level 13. Or lower, that you would be paralyzed for minutes and not killed instantly. Only level 8 would be instantly
killed.
Don't
forget, I pulled up the template from the D20 SRD. The creature also got spell resistance HD +10. So the creature had a 28 spell resistance at CR11.
Correct. Oh, no, trust me, I know. And it got wings. So it dealt with everything Steven wanted it to deal with and was also ridiculously broken.
Yes, of course. And of course, it also had its smite good, which because the damage was, again, they treated hit die as level. And it basically, because like a paladin got to add its level to its smite. So an 18th level paladin got to add +18 damage to its smite. Well, an 18 hit die creature got to add +18 damage. But T-Rex was CR8. and it had 18 hit dice. So it was completely broken and ridiculous. But that's actually in 3rd edition, people always talk about broken ass player characters. The fact of the matter is GMs just weren't trying hard enough. Like you could just completely.
I was trying hard enough. That's why my groups who I also had very broken characters, played up to very high levels, and it still was a challenge, although very, very dangerous for both sides.
Yeah.
Oh, I can talk.
No.
So anyhow, what I was going to say, there was actually a very good chat. Just put some archers on the dinosaurs' back. That was when dinosaurs actually started to become very good in my campaign, is that we took T-Rexes who were 20 by 20, so they're already gigantic, and we put a couple of other monsters, and now suddenly you have a monster as a mount with range because of the archers or the spellcasters. That, I think, is the vastly superior way of using dinosaurs, is basically just turn them into mounts. Because if you try to come near them, they will just mess you up because they're dinosaurs. And because they have ranged abilities at the top, it's actually a perfect combo, because they're too strong. They're actually too strong because you have to try to kill the casters from range, and then you put them in some something with cover, and then they're very hard to kill. And then the only way to really get them is you have to come near them, but then the dinosaur messes you up. Then it's a fun encounter. But again, I think
that's just a general truism. Encounters are more interesting when they're mixed.
Yeah.
Even though it's easy to put a lot of the same creature in there, when they're mixed and they have multiple different capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that I have, is that there's a lot of there's a certain amount of GM, we always talk about the GM CPU. And if you put in 3 or 4 very complicated, very different monsters into an encounter, that asks a lot of a GM, if you have a monster with a pretty complicated stat block and you're like, okay, we're going to put 2 or 3 of these monsters into the encounter, and that's the whole encounter. It's a little boring because you're fighting the same monster 3 times. But you're only looking at one stat block, and you only have to remember one stat block for one creature. But if you have a long, lengthy stat block, especially in a game that has a lot of additional, we'll call them ribbon abilities and all sorts of other stuff that's thrown in there, classic 5e, here's a list of spells that this creature can cast, even though, it doesn't matter that it can purify food and water. But it's there. It's in the stat block. You're kind of parsing it when you read it. And now you have 3 of those monsters. You have 2, 2, and 1. It's a lot for a GM to handle. And there's been some games like 4th edition, which really tried to streamline that. But as someone who played 4th edition, even I sometimes would struggle at higher levels because, 3 or 4 stat blocks of high level creatures were very complicated to run.
And they can be complicated to write or add if you need to. There are ways around that. One of the ways to do it is to add exactly what you need to round out the encounter more, like the archers on the dinosaur example, or here's an example from my own campaign. I was running a published adventure that had a bad rating for one of its dungeons, where you suddenly start fighting hobgoblins, and there's dozens of encounters that are mostly the same fighter hobgoblin and the same fighter rogue hobgoblin, these 2 stat blocks that were in the book over and over again.
Was that Red Hand of Doom?
It was not. It was actually one of the dungeons in part 4 of Jade Region.
Oh.
So what I did was I created just 2 additional stat blocks. I created an Oracle stat block that were the daughters of the BBEG who was at the end, and they were they were the lead of a cult to worship that BBEG, who did have a cult among the people there. And I added bards, and so I added some number. I would take out some of the fighter rogues or fighters from each encounter to add one of the oracles and one of the bards in every encounter. So I only had to learn them once. It drastically changed the tenor of all of the encounters to have them, because they were able to buff the others. Their builds were based upon support and dispelling magic, so that my players could not just run roughshod. It was a pretty high level, and if you were in 3.5, you only had fighters and fighter rogues. The mages were going to run roughshod on you, so I could cancel certain things strategically, and it was not too much of a burden. Whereas if I was creating new stat blocks for every encounter, that would have used up my CPU both in the session and out of the session.
That's a lot of work.
So I have 2 things. First, I just found this part of my PAX Unplugged swag. Ta-da! Godzilla.
Derik doesn't like it.
No, it sounds horrible.
Kickstarter. The
It sounds horrible.
Godzilla role-playing game.
Nobody play that. Like, what is that game even going to be?
In that game, are you
Exactly.
role playing as a kaiju like Godzilla? Or are you
No,
role-playing
I'm
the
sure
people
you're
who are fighting
Learn how to play
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Listen,
I don't know. Let's see how you play.
I'm just asking. I'm asking all of you. Just vote with your dollars, okay?
You have
Some people
aspects
will vote with their dollars to vote for Godzilla.
That's fine. I'm just saying, be a discerning customer.
There's cards. Oh, you use a standard pack of playing cards for those. The face cards each have a value of 10. Aces is 1. There's jokers. So I'm not exactly sure how you do this. You have a little adventure here. I have an adventure.
We're talking dinosaurs, so I can't help but feel like Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm. So
and whenever I see these RPGs, I always ask, the quote that always comes to my mind is, do a little bit of paraphrasing here.
I know, it's like,
your game designers were so obsessed with if they could, they never
They
stopped.
would make an RPG about
should.
Godzilla.
They never stopped to ask to think themselves should, if they should.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, like that's like when I see
War of the
so many of these RPGs, it's like, I guess you could
Derek,
make that RPG.
Super Princess points out that maybe you would like a Godzilla game if it was Dread.
I mean,
And then if
but
you knock over the tower, Godzilla kills
What
you.
about
Is Godzilla a
Monster
horror?
Apocalypse by Privateer Press? Did you ever do that one?
no, I know the game, but no, I didn't play that. Again, I'm not big into the kaiju dinosaur thing. What is going?
I love Godzilla.
Don't tell Derek, but in our world we have.
Well, that's what. Guess what?
We
That's
have God Beast Kaiju,
He knows
who are
about
the progenitors of the Titans,
Oh,
and
well,
the entire
that-
year
yeah.
of Titans is based on the Titanomachy
Okay,
between them and the gods.
So that leads me to the second thing. First of all, if you back the Year of Titans, if you buy Year of Titans right now on Battlezoo.com, I have 25% off almost everything for Black Friday. Go to Battlezoo.com today. You can get Year of Titans, and next month, in like a week, actually Sunday, or is it Monday, you get to play a Titan. And a Titan, you literally are part god. And you're part god, and you're part kaiju.
Part kaiju.
Part
yes, specifically.
kaiju.
But you're also not wrong, Stephen, because the kaiju in
our
our
kaijus are
setting,
gods.
we use the term god beast.
Yes.
Mainly because we first used kaiju and we learned that a lot of people don't know what that is.
Yes.
We thought everybody knew what it was, but we were totally wrong. So we call them enormous god beasts. They are also kaiju. We have called them kaiju sometimes in the past, but you can be part god beast kaiju.
Now, see, there you go.
You have the spark from that god beast kaiju.
That's
and
our Titan ancestry.
those descendants are the Titans.
Yeah.
I prefer that you call them, god beasts, because
Yeah, that's what we
kaiju to
call
me is like, well, that's a Japanese word. You know what I mean? Like, why are we using a Japanese word
No, we call them god
in our
beasts.
fantasy?
Yeah, we now
in our
call them
fantasy
god beasts with a Tolkien hyphen,
So
or
two
sometimes we
things.
call them
Plus, it has
the progenitors or the first ones.
Yeah,
it
we
has
call them that, too.
it has what were they called, Mark, from third edition, the ELH, the Epic Level Handbook? Abominations. Is that what they were called? It has some abomination vibes. Calling
It
them
has
god
some
beasts.
vibes of those. Yeah.
So
Those,
wait,
by the way, for people at home, those were like CR21 plus monsters from the Epic Level Handbook that were basically like the cursed offspring of various deities. They were really awesome, including the Chimichek, which is like the weirdest, most disturbing monster of all time. It's just a gigantic ball of chicken wings.
I love that. So next, Mark, we also have right now Year of Mysteries, where you can play a Saurus, which is a dinosaur PC. So,
but they're
first-
not literally a dinosaur. They're not the ones that you and Derek talked about being.
They're right next to. Derek is flanked by
I know.
two
No, I get it,
dinosaurs.
but you and Derek talked about the problems with dinosaurs, that
Oh,
they were
no,
too
no, no,
mundane, they don't have
no.
ranged attacks, or in Derek's
No,
case,
these
they are
PCs.
they
You can
are
do
the
all that.
uncanny valley of too realistic, but
Yes.
not quite realistic. But the Saurus, since it's an intelligent humanoid dinosaur,
So
may be able to escape from the fetters of both of those concerns.
So I wanted
because
you,
you could have
Mark-
like the Brontosaurus Pope, and he can cast healing spells.
So, Mark, I wanted you to talk about Titans, how they work, because you wrote them, and
I did
Titans have
write
a very.
Titans.
Actually, I wanted you to hear this there because there's a very cool thing where you get a.
They have a
spark.
pretty unique.
They're unique.
ability.
They have a whole new. Mark couldn't resist. He had to add a new metagame to the to the ancestry because it's Mark.
So
And-
Titans like we said, they're descendants of god beasts. Specifically, it's not like the god beasts like had children who had children who had children, and then that's the Titan. Instead, their divine spark is some of their divine spark did not get completely eaten by the dragon god in our setting when the dragon god like went kind of berserk and defeated almost all of the god beasts. And so what Titans have as their big claim to fame is that their heritage or their subspecies in 5e is enormously long. It is filled with content that you do not actually at first get, because the heritage has a thing called a spark. When you take the heritage, you get the first spark benefits, but there's a list of greater benefits, and you can wind up taking ancestry feats or feats in 5e to progress down your spark's benefits and gain more and more powerful benefits until eventually you have some like really outrageous abilities. And that is what's different in Titan. Also, every single one of the Titan's feats, like the names of the feats are chewing the scenery. I know actors technically chew the scenery and not like words, but just like I mean, I'll look this up, but like if words could chew the scenery, then the Titans feats names would chew the scenery. They have names like, here's the file, it's open now. They have names like Grasping Jaws devour the sun. Triune Spark beholds the slumbering majesty. Tetrad Spark trespasses the towering heights. Rampage through multitudes and trample hope. Quake the earth and bring their works to ruin. Or tower above and shatter the sky.
Anyhow, so yes, Titans are pretty cool because you get the spark. You get the spark of a god in you, and then you can unlock more powerful spark. Someone said gag. I guess they didn't like that, but I guess they're on Team Derik there. But
no, I think that stuff's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
you like that sort of stuff.
If it's thematically appropriate, I think that's pretty thematically appropriate.
Yeah, well, basically, there's like a spark. There's gods in our world, god beasts, and not all of them were destroyed. Or some people are descended from the god beasts, so you have a little bit of God still in you, just a little bit. But then there is the Saurus, but I'm not even sure how does the Saurus work because those aren't even written yet.
Yeah, they're not written yet, but they are not Titans. They're dinosaur people. And they are basically, serpent folk or snake people, right? And you have
people.
Cat folk are cat people.
Otter people.
And Kitsune are fox people, but not just fox people. All of them have their own different kinds of magic and folklore. And Kushtaka are definitely not just otter people because they're also like really messed up and really exciting and interesting because of the way that like they are like nearly soulless and they like suck the souls out of other people to make Kushtaka, but also otter people. And Saurus are dinosaur people. And so we do not know all the details about them yet because they're not coming until like mid next year. So I left a decent amount up to the freelancer to decide about their society when I assigned it. So I'm expecting to hear good things about the Saurus, but just not yet.
Yes, and Derek's writing it.
No,
that would be really funny, but not for Derik.
No, it would be funny. It would not be funny for Derik. It would be tragic.
It would not be funny for us. It would be
tragic.
We didn't get any book from him.
You're right. It would be tragic and sad for the company, and it would ultimately be very disappointing for the consumer. So
when we like Derik, just send over what you have now. Your due date is done, and it just was the word "Y" in capital letters, underlined multiple times. With a blood stain on the page that he just sends in the mail to Steven.
I'll be like this. I'm like, here's what I got. I have 45 live stream hours of me circling the subject without actually accomplishing anything, talking about all of the structural reasons why this is a good idea, why this is a bad idea, about the myriad of ways that we could go about this design, and trying to consider all of the different alternatives and options, trying to create the ultimate game design decision that maximizes player agency while creating a diegetic experience that ties together somehow the Ludo narrative between simulationism and gameism, creating a very, very, and you'll be like, okay, so, but what do you have? I'll be like, oh, nothing.
Well, yeah, you'd have 45 pages of outline and notes.
Yes,
There you go.
that's correct.
But
Which is pretty
instead,
much
we're-
sums up Derek's entire YouTube channel.
Hey, I'd like to point out that that is basically what created the Silmarillion. Okay, Christopher Tolkien just took Tolkien's hastily scribbled notes and said, "You know what? Let me build an entire world based off around this."
But instead of that, sometime in March, I'm going to receive an actual manuscript, or maybe late February, an actual manuscript from Jessica Catalan that has the actual ancestry in it.
Actually,
Right.
math guy Dave wrote,
like
and
math,
then
yeah.
Mark will write the entire ancestry the night before it's due, and it will be great. There we go. That's
I mean,
pretty
I
much.
try to write it in advance unless I'm only told that I have one night because Derek just sends me all of those
Yeah,
notes.
because Derek
Like,
is
honestly, if Derek sent that many notes to me, I probably could just write the ancestry
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
point, especially if they also included lengthy commentary of tier lists of his own ideas for feats and be like, this idea was F tier. Derek
Right.
should not have come up with this one.
Right. Well, I design my stuff backwards, where before I've even designed it, I've already tier ranked it, and since it was D tier, I threw it away before I even designed it. It's
Wait.
like I'm like designing with a time machine.
Wait, we actually have a great chat here. It says, so what you need to do is have Derek do the last ancestry of the year so we can generate a year worth of hype.
Here you go. August 22 when Omniscient.
That's a good one.
So someone asked in chat what the size would be.
I'm going to
for
go out
the
on a limb
Taurus.
and I'm going to guess medium.
No, I'm pretty sure that they are mostly large. Maybe one of the smaller heritages might be medium.
Whenever we do that, we usually try to make it either, if it's going to be medium, if we're going to have large, then we're going to have some medium and even some smalls.
We
Just to
try to
mix it
have
up.
at least some medium
Okay.
because, as Stephen well knows, if your entire ancestry is only large, it's hard to fit into certain maps.
There's a lot
So
of
we
maps
might be
that
like
are
saying
made
that
for
the
it.
Velociraptor Deinonychus one is medium, for example, and the new one that we unlocked just recently in the stretch goal, and then all the other ones are large, and then we could have feats to become huge for some of the ones where the dinosaurs were
Yeah,
particularly
people
big.
like to become big in combat, but they like
They
to be
really-
medium
Yeah, it's
when they're. Oh, your camera went out of focus.
yeah. I don't know why it's doing that. It's because I moved it. I
Yeah,
have to reset. I have to get it set it back
your
up.
whole everything's a mess. Your
It
whole
is a
place
mess.
is a mess.
I got back Monday night, and then it's just been yesterday was just trying to restart my life again. So
Ah, poor life.
I know. And then I had a stream, and it was supposed to be a short stream, and then it was a long stream.
Well, that's your own fault. Did you get back enough money to fix your laptop?
Yes.
That's good at least.
It wasn't that bad, actually. I mean, I know
It was
it's still like
$400.
Yeah, but 400's not 2,000 or whatever it could be for a
Well,
new
the laptop didn't even cost that much. I would have just bought a new laptop at that point. I mean,
Well, yeah,
like
true.
$400 was like right at like if it had been
Yeah,
well,
it's
they
right
do
at
that
the
on
break
purpose.
point where you,
Yeah.
where
That's
you
on
fix it
purpose,
instead
buddy.
of buy a new one.
You know, you bought that.
2,000,
They're
you
buying that
definitely
screen.
buy a new.
They're buying that screen from China for $20.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I got it. I didn't get it repaired through Dell. I got it repaired through a local.
I know, and they're buying it from the China
No,
for
I-
$20.
I was with him when he ordered the screen. He bought it off of eBay.
Oh my god, that's even worse. So okay, but then he's just charging you.
Well, yeah, he's got to charge
Labor.
me. I mean, he's got to make a living.
Oh, I know. I mean, I
It can,
could.
it can be dangerous to do those repairs yourself.
Oh
Like,
no.
it depends. It depends
part
on
of the
what.
problem-
It depends on what
well,
you have to open up.
No,
like
part
of the
Linda.
Well, part
Linda
of the problem is
actually
that
did her
never-
own repair when they get quoted her with a high amount for a laptop,
I repair everything myself.
and she
Well-
thought she watched a lot of videos and read a lot of things first, and they were like, at this step, you need to use this sealing glue, and you need to be really careful because if any charge gets in at this point, your whole thing is fried.
Well, but
It
the other
didn't,
thing is
and
is
her
that
laptop's fine now, but
right. Well, the other issue is that because it fell on the corner, like the aluminum case itself is bent and distorted. So like
Mhm.
there's also like metallurgy involved in like bending it back, and I just didn't want to have to deal with that.
So
So,
I guess if it's just the screen and you don't have to go into the depths of like everything else, it's not as bad.
Oh, we should do this. Some Volcano said Tiny Dinosaur 2 Fred Flintstone uses one as a shaver. That's a good one. We should use the Fred
No,
Flintstone.
that is not a good one.
That is a great one. Derek approved. I'm going to come up with some.
I'm going to write down a note. Derek approves that we should have a feat to gain a familiar that's a tiny dinosaur like the one Fred Flintstone used as a shaver.
That you could use
that
for
your big
little
dinosaur
objects.
can take around a tiny dinosaur as a friend.
Yes.
So see, Cal. So what the guy told me, he's actually it was a really great conversation with him, because he was kind of like, he's like, well, what do you do? I was like, well, I guess I'm a YouTuber. And he was like, really? And he was so fascinated by this. He was asking me all these questions, and we were going back and forth. And then it turned out he actually played Magic the Gathering. He's like, do you know the guy who used to be? I go, oh, Brian Dunnigan. He goes, oh yeah. I go, yeah, I know him. He goes, oh wow, you really do. So we actually had this great conversation. But here's the problem. He said, I'm going to tell you what you got to do next time. He goes, XPSs. I have a Dell XPS. He goes, it's a nice laptop. It's a good laptop. But next time you buy a Dell, if you're just using it for what you say you're using it for, which is back in the day, I used to use my laptop for my photography, and I used it as a video editing, and I used it as a photo editing, and I used it to capture images. Now it is basically a glorified web browser, Discord browser. And he says, just get a Dell Latitude. The reason is because they sell 10 million of those a year, because that's like their business line. He goes, so there are infinity like replacement part. Like you can get a Dell Latitude screen for like $30. He goes, the problem, for example, with your Dell XPS is it's not an HD screen. It's a HD plus screen, because it's not 1920 by 1080. It's like 1920 by like 1250, right? So it's a little bit wider than a traditional screen. So he's like, it just, everything about it just makes it more bespoke and a little bit more of a pain in the butt. So, and I mean, I was with him while we were looking at eBay to buy a replacement screen. I was like, yeah, this is not cheap. And he said also the problem is that your laptop is too new. He said it's only 2 years old, and what happens is Dell makes a bunch of these, and then eventually when they discontinue the line, they take all their back stock and they just offload it to the secondary market. And he goes, but right now they don't. Dell basically has all their screens, and nobody's making, they don't make like third-party screens for it, so that's why they're so expensive. Like unless you get it done through Dell. But if I got it done through Dell, it would have been like $560, like $600. And at that point, I just buy a new laptop.
Wow. So if it wasn't for you breaking a laptop, you wouldn't have learned so much.
I didn't want to learn that though. That's
but that's the benefit. You got a chance to.
A lot of people go, wow, you know so much. I'm like, yeah, I wish I didn't. Sometimes you have to learn this stuff, and I wish I didn't know it.
Oh, that's the life of Derek.
Long story short, because I definitely do not do photo editing on my machines anymore. Well, that's the other thing though, is like I originally thought I was going to be using my laptop to do a lot more streaming from it, but I hardly ever do that. So even like when I go to cons nowadays, I usually just use my phone, and I just use the YouTube Go Live from my phone.
Wow.
So I don't use OBS. So
hardcore.
I'll just get like a cheap throwaway laptop, basically.
You should just do that. You should have your travel laptop so that if you break it, you don't care.
Correct. Well, that's like the camera I brought. That's my bad, quote unquote bad camera. It's only like $1,000, not like $5,000, because like.
And yet you still wouldn't wear your watch.
No, that's just too expensive.
Oh, Derek. So dinosaurs,
especially when I'm going to flying and going into Philly, and like I didn't know what and I didn't. I thought I did. I ended up walking through the city. Like I didn't end up walking through the city at night, but like I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You could be assaulted and mugged and taken your stuff away.
Absolutely.
Big bad city of Philly.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty nice. No complaints there.
Derek is so scared. Don't be scared.
I am not scared. I'm cautious.
So scared.
I didn't grow up in the heart of Gotham like you.
Hey man, Manhattan.
That was Steven's origin story. He was coming back from an 80s movie at night, and then Joe Chill had just came into the alleyway.
I have vivid memories because I used to go into Manhattan a lot in high school in the mid 80s, and let me tell you, that's still when graffiti was all over the place, and it was rough. I mean, well,
graffiti doesn't scare me. That's not going to, kill me or rob me.
You'd say that, but when you see it everywhere, it was the broken windows theory.
No, I'm mostly afraid of people who intend to deal me harm. That's my main concern.
Yeah. Anyhow, so dinosaurs we've come to the conclusion that everyone loves them. They should be in everything.
I don't
They're
know.
great.
Several people agreed with Derik.
And that Derik is going to get a tattoo of a dinosaur on his forearm.
Well, let me be very clear. In my teens, what year did Jurassic Park come out? Like 93?
93.
Yeah. So I was 11 and I loved Jurassic Park. I had Jurassic Park posters up in my room. I thought it was a great movie. I was never big into paleontology, but I thought dinosaurs were cool, but I never connoted that with, or never, connotated that with D&D. And I'm trying to think of the number of times I've used.
Even with the Isle of Dread, you never thought about them being together?
Not really. No.
Me either. It was just a side tangent. It's like, there's dinosaurs.
In PF1, I think I used, outside of summoning a celestial T-Rex, which is mostly just for the lulz, and because it was very effective. I think I only used dinosaurs one time. There was a dungeon that had a portal that went to this, lost island, tropical island, and it was kind of like to really mix things up. And on that island, of course, was dinosaurs.
And there you go.
And a primitive tribe that worshipped the fire god deity that lived in the volcano, and obviously that ruled over the island, and he was actually like a horrific, evil, like fiendish djinn or something, or I guess a freet. Dinosaurs. There may have been a King Kong analog as well. Because see, now that's something that people don't talk about. Where's the King Kong? Everyone does dinosaurs. Where's the big gorilla? Because
the gigantic.
There's lots of gorillas.
Gigantic ape.
Yeah, because I remember I read this in Mutants and Masterminds, which they called, there was like this era in like the 60s or 70s where like Marvel Comics or whatever, or the comic, they realized that like if you put a gorilla or an ape on the cover, like that they all sold like 20% better. And so like you had this like huge explosion of like gorilla bad guys, in all these comic books.
So Derik, I hate to say it, and maybe you're not surprised because you didn't know that dinosaurs were in Bestiary 1 and Monster Core, but the Mega Primatus, gargantuan giant ape, 40 feet tall, is in Bestiary 1 and Monster Core. It's page 23 because apes were like a very early section. They start with A. It's one of the first monsters in there, other than the fact that like things like aeons and angels come before ape. So it's always been in there, Derik. It's been within you all along.
This is massive news to me. I did not know any of this. What is it called? A Mega Primatus?
Mega Primatus.
What nerd created that name?
Mark.
I should know, but I don't know.
It's a level 8 monster. That's it?
Yeah, it's level 8. It's King Kong. Dude, King Kong is actually like not that dangerous. Like you saw him, right, fighting the dinosaurs on his island.
Yeah.
And about how well he does with that. Like he's not like drastically stronger than a dinosaur.
And to Steven's point, he has a fist attack, he has a jaws attack, he has a rend attack, which is his 2 claws, and he can basically make an AoE
roar or something.
50 foot roar thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's what he's got. He can climb if there's something to climb, but he is level 8, so he's kind of at the level where the PCs are not probably flying all around everywhere yet, or if they are, it's a very hefty resource, and they're about the same level as him.
King Kong is easy to give a range attack because you give him like a throw, because he does throw things all the time in movies. So you have him like throw terrain, throw rocks, throw anything like that would be.
His stat block doesn't say he can do that, so he could have had. There is a generic evergreen throw rock ability in PF2, and
there is. I know that's what I was thinking of. Throw rock. You just add that one line. Easiest, literally throw rock.
Super Princess says just put dudes on his back.
That's what I say too.
That's the solution to everything. That's the solution to everything.
You got it. You got it. So. Whoops.
So King Kong's height is mentioned. Someone in the chat says that King Kong is as tall as Godzilla, and I think it's very inconsistent in different films, because when he's like, if he's 30 stories high or whatever, he would not have been climbing the Empire State Building.
He was
like
100. He was 100 feet tall in those.
You know what's really?
He was 100 feet tall in 2017. but he was 25 feet tall in 2005 in Peter Jackson's.
Well, I'm thinking about the 70s Kong when he climbed the Twin Towers.
The 76 Kong, I think was like 40 to 60 feet tall.
No, he was.
That was Mega Primatus. That's the 1976 King Kong.
He's like 60 feet, like
40 to 60. He's the closest to the one in the Best Series stat block.
You know what's really disappointing? The Mega Primatus, which again is not a great name, is literally just a bigger version of the gorilla.
Yeah.
It literally is the same creature.
That's called lazy, right?
That's called Best Series stat blocks can't fit very much in them.
Yeah,
if you try to put multiple things in them and get them on the same spread. It's just a very sad truth that can sometimes happen with those. Like, and I have seen it enough times that I can tell, right? Like recently somebody showed me like one of their monsters that was in a recent monster book, not ours. And I was like, this is an amazingly cool monster. And I will bet anything that you originally had an ability that did X, Y, or Z, but that it didn't fit. And they're like, yes. I was like, I could tell because the design of this monster would be even better if it could have fit that. But it is the kind of thing you didn't need, but it would have like raised it up like several levels to be like even better. But page space is a cruel master.
Page space. So I'm going to do a poll.
Steven doesn't care about page space, and that's one of the things that I sometimes appreciate him. I appreciate that about Steven is that
making it work.
As an author, there's nothing that saddens me more than when I have to make a monster or anything, not just a monster, worse because of copy fit. It's like, yeah, now this is just not as good as it could be. And the fact that Steven is always like, I don't care. We're just doing it. It'll take 2 pages or we'll have more space for it is, as a designer, is a really nice thing.
So I did the poll. Do you like dinos in your D&D? Yes or no?
All right, let's see how it's going.
So far, we'll see how it's going.
Come on, fellow dino fans.
I struggle with their...
It's pretty close. I told you. You're like, who has problems with this? A lot of people. A lot of people have problems with dinosaurs.
It's just I play D&D for the fantasy, and to me, like dinosaurs are just in this weird uncanny valley. I love dinosaurs. I like reading their stat blocks. I like reading about them, but I don't want them in my D&D campaign or Pathfinder.
Didn't you say you liked the dinosaur one where they had the archers on them, Steven?
Well, after going through, because I was running an adventure path, so it had them in there, and I got to use it. I got to see them in action, and we literally did every single one.
So now you do want them? But
no.
Why did you agree to the Saurus ancestry if you don't want more dinosaurs?
When to use them best, and using them with archers on their back. Anything that had ranged abilities. They were very good, but as standalone monsters, they were very meh.
I'm willing to admit that I also have issues with monsters and creatures that are melee only, especially at higher levels from a mechanical perspective. From a lore perspective, I just like having dinosaurs from the purely story lore.
Well, I want them in the game, but that doesn't mean I need to run them. Like there's a lot of things that people don't want to run in games that are just in the game. Like you have to put everything in the game, but you don't have to run everything. So.
That's very fair. With 30 votes, it looks like it 31 is 55 to 45 in favor of dinosaurs.
Barely.
Yeah, I know. It's very shocking, but maybe it's because of the fact that if you see a thing that says dinosaurs in D&D, love them or hate them, and you love them, you might not click because you'd be like, I don't know, I love them, whatever. But if you hate them, you'd be like, yes, I hate them. I have to watch this video.
That's a good question. Now, what about cyber dinosaurs from Starfinder? Now, those I have no problem with because A, they can have ranged
like
attacks.
Giant guns on their hands and other things like that.
Literally, they have guns on their shoulders. And B, they're fantasy. Like now it's like, okay, there's not even a 1-to-1. They're just like they're might as well just be dragons at that point, because I have no problem with that. Then they go to the rule of cool. Then they're cool. I like dinosaurs in Starfinder a lot, actually. Because you see, I think you have to go, if they're too close to traditional dinosaurs, I don't like them. But if you take a dinosaur and make it into a mech, that's awesome. Right, Derik? He said yes. He's so not paying attention.
And the mechs are a little bit I don't know. I mean, yes, it does make them better, I guess, because now it feels more weird because they've got, you know, they're not just an animal. But I mean, I don't know. It's like a shark with freaking laser beams attached to it. It's
Which
like,
is, by the way, we fought those. We actually fought at the end of it was actually in what was it in? It was not Extinction Curse, the Agents of Edgewatch. They did fight a 3-headed shark with an octopus body that shot lasers. Yes, it shoots lasers. That thing, they killed it so fast. It was kind of disappointing. And we're like, yeah. Oh, it died. It died. Oh well. But it looked cool. It was scary. It didn't do anything.
It's strong, but if your PCs gang up on it, like.
So I'm gonna end the poll, and the poll literally ended with 51% saying yes and
that's pretty close.
49% saying no. That's as close as you get with it. Let's do 50-50. I mean, it's kind of amazing. Told you, people don't like them.
I don't really like them as an army in Warhammer, but the lizardmen from Warhammer, they have a lot of dinosaur-like analogs. But they're called stegodons, and they're not called stegosauruses. But again, to your point, they're mostly used as like analogs. Like instead of riding horses, they ride what are they called? Cold ones, I think they're called. And instead of and then they have a big stegodon, and it's got.
Isn't a stegodon just literally like a mammoth relative?
I don't know.
Like it's a real animal.
Is it? I don't know. But anyways, they have big howdahs, and to your point,
98% sure.
There's a creature that's basically like a big stegosaurus thing, and yes, it's got a howdah with a bunch of lizardmen skinks who have like archers and blow darts, and they ride it. No, when I type in stegodon, the only thing I'm getting is the Warhammer stegodon.
I found the mammoth creature.
Oh, I see.
This guy's been asking this question like 10
Mark,
times.
you looked up the stegodon. This is the stegodon.
Oh, well, see, I put a schwa when I pronounced stegodon with the O.
No, you need stegodon.
So Gandalf,
not stegodon.
9409 keeps asking us, by the way, this is more for you, Derek. Are you okay with the Zaxxillion? I forgot how you pronounce
Ixalan.
Ixalan's in Magic.
Oh, yeah. So Ixalan was the first set that actually introduced dinosaurs. And ironically, in Warhammer, I don't know if this is ironic, but it was stop. I need to see. This is what happens when I mess with my camera.
Your camera is not behaving.
Well, because again, I took it to PAX, and so now all the settings got mixed up. In Warhammer, the lizardmen come from Lustria, which in the Warhammer analog is South America. And that's where they're from. They kind of have like an Aztec Mayan vibe to them as well. In Ixalan, in Magic the Gathering, well, technically its own plane, was essentially a homage or a tribute to many South American, Mesoamerican cultures. So it's kind of funny that they put that stuff in there. That being said, regarding dinosaurs in D&D, or dinosaurs in Magic, we now have Avatar Aang, the Star Trek Enterprise, and Spider-Man. So on the grand scheme of things, it's totally fine.
That is very fair. It seems that you have been either won over or at least beaten into submission by...
at this point, it's well, I don't play constructed Magic anymore, so I don't care as much because I don't actually have to see those cards together. So when I play Avatar, or if I play Magic, it's a draft set, and it's just only Avatar cards. So it's Aang with Katara, and it's versus Zuko and a bunch of otter penguins, and it's like, okay, this makes sense. This feels like an Avatar game.
It's not like Aang with Captain Kirk against Dr. Octopus.
You got it. Exactly. So that would be, with a Shivan dragon or whatever. Like that would be too much for me. And in fact, actually, that kind of vomitous mass of various IPs is part of the reason why I like to be more, be more curating when it comes to what I allow in my games of RPGs, is because I don't want it to feel like Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond, right? Where you just have this like pastiche of various weird PC ancestries and stuff like that. That's why I'm such a snob for that.
So Derek, we're like close enough to the same age that when you were growing up, eventually Super Smash Brothers came out. Did you hate that because it had the prestige of all these characters from different games that you would never want them to be together in the same world? They should just go back to their own games.
I did not like Smash Brothers.
Oh my god!
Did you hate it for its mechanics or because it brought crossovers of all those characters?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm not a huge.
When I was growing up,
I'm not a crossover fan.
Everyone dreamed about having a game that would cross over all those characters, and when it came out, everyone was so excited.
Yeah.
Like that I knew that was into video games and nerd culture that now you could play with these characters together. Even some of us who didn't really like the mechanics as much.
Yeah. You know, I like peanut butter. I like tuna fish. I don't like them together. You know?
That's so disgusting.
I love a peanut butter sandwich with a little honey. Very delicious. A little tuna fish with some chopped up sweet gherkins, maybe a little onion. Delicious. Do I want to put peanut butter and tuna fish together? No.
So I got a story. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go. Are you ready? What's the chances of me having a story based on tuna fish and peanut butter? Well, I do. So when I was a little kid, I was very picky about what I like to eat. And I would have a peanut butter sandwich every single day of my life. And I still love peanut butter to this day. It's one of my favorite things of all time. I love it. And my dad, his favorite thing of all time is tuna fish. And he wanted me to eat tuna fish because it was high in protein, blah, blah, blah. This is the 70s, so we didn't really know what everything was. But he wanted me to have tuna fish. So what ended up happening is I refused because I think tuna fish is absolutely disgusting. Even though I like tuna, I hate tuna fish. And he was always angry that I wouldn't had tried tuna fish because he thought it was like better. He thought peanut butter would be like too fattening, blah, 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 all that stuff. So when I was a kid, he used to sneak tuna fish into my peanut butter sandwiches. He would mix it in and have me eat it. And I remember this every so often. I'd be like, why does this taste so weird? What's the weird consistency? And then he said to me one time, it was like, months later, he's like, why didn't you have tuna fish? He's like, well, you've been secretly eating it all this time because I've been putting tuna fish in your peanut butter all along and you didn't even know it. So you do like it. And all that did is make me never trust him to give me food ever again. And I only would make my own food from that day forward because I never trusted them. I would cook my own dinner. I would cook my own breakfast. I'd make my own lunch. I never, ever, ever let my parents make food ever again, unless it was something like
honestly,
like hot dogs or something.
If one of my parents put tuna fish into my food, I would never talk to them again.
Well, I talked to them, but it's one of those core memories. So I have firsthand experience there.
Like when I said
it's not that good. Dude, fish and peanut butter. There you go.
Cinnabus. I mean, I played Heroes of the Storm. I don't know that I'm like a super huge fan of it.
You didn't have a comment. You went right to Heroes of the Storm. You have no comment.
I mean, look, what can I say? I don't, I make a point of comparison about how no one would ever eat that, and then you go, "Oh, actually, I used to eat that all throughout the 70s."
Not on purpose. Not on purpose. It was a story of horror.
I can't. You're the master. I'm the apprentice. You're smart. I'm stupid. You're good looking. I'm not very attractive. Like it's
quite the opposite. Derik was quite the. He was very impressive when he was hanging out with me for a week. I was stunned at his ability to woo others. You make it sound like I was throwing some game down. You weren't throwing game down, but he was doing it in a friend way. He was doing the friend zone way, and it was very impressive to see how much he was wrapping people around his little finger. Very, very good. That's how you got sick, because you're too good at talking. Too good at
I do like talking. I like talking to people. I like talking to people about things that they're interested in, and I'm interested in, like role-playing games. It's almost like that's what my entire channel is about.
There we go. I'll tell you my favorite thing in the world, and people think I'm insane, is I do like peanut butter sandwiches with mustard.
My God.
It tastes so good. It's so good.
Don't ever say to me that you're a foodie again. You're the worst person I've ever seen.
No, his wife is a foodie.
I am too. No, you just do a touch of mustard on. Mustard is good on like so many things. Because it just adds, you know why? Because it has a little bit of spice, a little tanginess. You don't knock it till you try it, man. Don't knock it till you try it.
I thought you were going to say in tuna fish. I was like,
tiny bit.
I was like, a little bit of mustard in tuna fish is. Just
I don't
kinda-
like tea. I don't like tea.
Steven, you're making our viewers sick.
Good. Everyone has something weird they like. Everyone has some weird combination of food. It's a scientific, mathematic. Everyone does. Everyone has their weird combo.
No. Okay. For starters, Cade Shade Row. For starters, don't call people intellectually dishonest. Who the hell are you? So, screw you. Secondly, no, I like the gameplay of Heroes of the Storm. I'm not super excited that like Jim Raynor gets to go, I don't know, shoot Diablo in the face. That part to me, I'd much rather it just be all StarCraft.
By the way, someone had the weird. You guys are the combination of weird that I like. There we go. We're the weird combo.
Maybe that should be the tagline for this channel.
The year of condiments, So do you know that there's a mysterious third condiment that no one knows what it is?
Mayonnaise.
No one knows. So back
What does it mean?
Wait, if you let me explain and shut up, I'll let you know. So back in the day, in like the 17, 18, even 1900s, there was a salt shaker, there was a pepper shaker, and there was another shaker. But it doesn't have any labels. No one has no idea what was on it. And this is the thing. When something is so common that no one talks about it, it's never written down. So no one knows. No one knows what that third shaker is. And they're all over the place. Like you can find it. They think they think it was, they're not exactly sure what type of condiment it was. But you can look this up. They still have been arguing over what that possibly could be, but supposedly it's everywhere, and you will find it in old condiment sets. It's 3 shakers instead of just 2. Now there's just salt and pepper, but no one exactly knows. Yeah, right. Sugar, but sugar. Why would sugar be in a shaker, right? And it was like a weird. It was weird, but no one's exact. And also, sugar clumps really easily when it's in a shaker, so it's not a great place.
I don't really consider salt and pepper a condiment, though.
Okay, well, whatever. What were they? Seasoning. So I'll call them. It was a seasoning shaker, but no one knows what that is.
It was just MSG.
Yeah, it could have been. Who knows? No one knows. No one knows.
What do you mean no one knows?
No one knows. Look it up. Well, I'll tell you. So one of the most popular. We talked about
whether or not salt is a condiment, and apparently, in many East Asian cultures, it is not used as a condiment, and they instead use soy sauce, fish sauce, and oyster sauce. But that salt is used as a condiment in most Western cultures.
I'll give you the other one. So water pie. We talked about this, Derik. Water pie, one of the most popular meals in all of the Great Depression that people wrote about constantly, about a very cheap substitute to eat, and it was very cheap and easy to make. No recipes. No one has a recipe. Never written down. And yet it's all over the place. So try to look up water pie.
I found another thing about the definition of condiment that says that many of the definitions include spices and herbs, including salt and pepper, and are used interchangeably with seasoning. But there are others, like yours, Derik, that restrict the definition to prepared food compounds containing spices that are added after the cooking process, such as mustard, ketchup, and mint sauce.
Yeah, water pie, a Depression era treat. But again, there's a lot of examples of things that are so common in the world that no one ever writes it down. Now it's a little different because we have phones and everything, like everything can be recorded. But back in the 20s and the 1800s and 1900s, if it wasn't written down, no one has a record of it because they didn't have pictures or anything, or if they did, no one's taking pictures of their water pie or a recipe of water pie, things like that. So no one knows. Very interesting. All right, powdered mustard seems to be the third shaker. According to, some people thought it might have been powdered mustard, which brings me back to the mustard. Yum.
Which is definitely still not the topic. I don't even remember how we started talking about this. Oh, because I was talking about
yum.
I made a metaphor about peanut butter and tuna fish, and then you started talking about how your father dishonestly.
No, it was horrible.
I think that was the start of Steven's path towards becoming a sorcerer.
Sorcerer. We have to do that one for April Fool's one year. We have to do a true sorcerer where they use sauces to create magic.
See, I like Cinnabos's thing. I think it would be funny if that pie thing is just a Depression era meme. right? Like they used to joke like, "Oh yeah, you guys have a water pie," and like no one ever actually ate it.
No, they actually figured it out what it is, because because it was basically making a pie. It was a custard pie using water instead of milk. That's basically what it was.
You know, it's interesting, Davin. So when I make when I have like egg salad or potato salad, especially potato salad, I love it with some yellow mustard. But when I make tuna fish, my go-to tuna fish is tuna fish, mayonnaise, and then, like I said, chopped up sweet gherkins or a little bit of onion. I don't add mustard to it, but maybe I'll try it because it's basically the same thing as potato salad or egg salad at that point. And maybe it would be good with a little bit of mustard.
Now people are happy because now we're talking about the real subject that you always find a roll for combat. Tangents. That's what we should just call it. Roll for tangents.
Roll for combat.
There we go.
I do like Patrick Benjamin. Celery's fine, but again, that's why I like the sweet gherkin.
Hey, peanut butter and carrots.
Get the crunch.
I love peanut butter and carrots.
I've literally never heard anyone ever eat that.
Peanut butter and carrots is great. You just put a little. I get the mini carrots. You just dip it in. You know what was my favorite?
I thought you meant like a sandwich.
No. Just as a snack. The other one I like is
fine.
I get frosted mini wheat, and I take peanut butter and put the frosted mini wheats on the peanut butter and pop those in. Those are delicious.
What I'm getting is that you just like peanut butter.
I love peanut butter. Peanut butter goes with a lot of things. Well, how about peanut sauce? I love chicken satay. Delicious.
I mean, I love pad thai.
What about sesame noodles? Sesame noodles with the peanut sauce. Delicious.
So maybe our new channel name should be Tangents and Tall Tales.
It's too hard to say.
Take care, Philo. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Peanut butter, raisins, and celery was the government pushed thing.
Yeah, I would say I don't really have it in my house anymore. But when I do have peanut butter, it's usually just straight peanut butter or peanut butter and honey. And I usually have a jar of PP2 in the house as well, which I use sometimes to add to a protein shake.
Well, peanut butter and honey, that's Peter Pan, by the way, is peanut butter and honey. That's why it has a little tang to it. Peter Pan has honey built into it. Yeah.
Oh, no, I love the...
I know you had your own. I got it.
But no, I love the Smucker's Natural, the one where the oil separates.
You know what I actually like? This is actually very common in New York. If you get chicken Parmesan and you put hot honey with chicken parm, delicious. Actually, hot honey with most things is really good.
What about tangents and trolls?
I need a very important poll put up, Stephen.
Oh God, yes.
Crunchy or smooth?
Okay, I actually like both, but for different purposes.
Then put crunchy, smooth, both or neither. But
I like both, but it depends. It depends.
Yeah, then give both as an option.
Because I eat so much different type of peanut butter. It depends when you're using it for what purpose. Because
I like crunchy.
Oh, I love crunchy, but smooth has its place.
Well, my thought process here is sun butter, Elder Goblin Gaines, isn't from peanut butter. It's from sunflower seeds. It is good though.
Sunflower butter.
Yeah, sunflower butter. Same thing with almond butter, which is also pretty good, but nothing really beats peanut butter. But yeah, I see, Cinnabos, you get me. See, I make us choose, no cop out. I'm the same way. Pick one. My thought process is if you like crunchy, it's way better because there's nobody who eats crunchy who wouldn't eat smooth. You're not going to be well, if it doesn't have little chunks of peanut in it, get fucked. It's the same thing with pulpy orange juice. I like pulpy orange juice, which obviously means I can drink.
Here we go. I'm making the poll. It's one or the other. You were thinking crunchy or smooth. That's it. There's no in between.
But I prefer the crunchy.
Oh, crunchy is vastly superior. I like the crunch in there.
Patrick Benjamin.
Oh my God. I would make peanut butter Nutella sandwiches all the time. And if I feel saucy, I will make a peanut butter fluffernutter Nutella sandwich. And you got the fluff in there, some peanut butter and some Nutella. But that is so sweet that you got to be very liberal. You got to be very, very judicious with the Nutella.
That's a diabetic bomb.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that one. That was a little too much. But Nutella and peanut butter.
Nutella, I like in very small
very
amounts.
thin. It's like putting on Vegemite. Yeah, I got to put on a very thin layer because a little too much goes a long way. Little goes a long way.
I also, Davin, I like to chew my orange juice as well. I like to strain it. I like to pretend I'm like a baleen, like I'm like a blue whale, and I'm using my baleen to strain out the pulp.
Crunchy tears up the bread, so you're using the wrong bread. Okay, so one of my favorites, and I just even had this for lunch. You get sourdough bread or like a thick wheat, like like not just a regular, not like Wonder Wheat, like a wheat that's like a brick, and that can hold your crunchy peanut butter no problem, and it will not tear.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Me?
Yeah, and Mark.
All right. Well, this is
Mark's a vegetarian, so this is interesting.
Yeah, there will be. So Val, my wife, is making. She's been spending 3 weeks making Thanksgiving. We're having 10 people over. She's making everything except the turkey. Her sister's bringing the turkey. So my wife makes it's a side, but we call it the corn. It's basically a corn. It's almost like cornbread, but it's kind of cornbread, but it's corn with 10,000 pounds of butter. And it's kind of like a corn porridge, and it is delicious. Okay. It's absolutely delicious. So that's probably my favorite thing.
See, look, Mark, something that you would eat, corn porridge.
Oh, yeah, it's totally vegetarian.
All right, Mark, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food, if there is such a thing?
There is no such thing. So I just eat whatever I was going to eat anyway.
Wow.
That is the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
I know, what a cop out. It's so depressing.
No, it's not. It would be much more depressing if I had to. It would be much more depressing if I had to eat the food that was served to me at Thanksgiving as I was growing up. Trust me.
Really? Wow.
Even the other people who were there often were like, I don't know about this.
Well, you know what? We had that too. We would go to Thanksgiving to Val's in-laws. And we used to just talk about how unbelievably terrible the food was every time. But the piece de resistance was they had this gelatin thing with like berries and fruits and God knows what. And it was this, swear to God, the name of it was called Glip Glop. And we still don't know what it was. And it was it looked disgusting. It smelled disgusting. The name was disgusting. I never ate it, but people ate it. And I was like, why?
So, Steven, I have a very similar situation to you. And because of that, I think I just don't have good memories or feelings about traditional Thanksgiving food, many of which, as you said, are meat-based to begin with.
Yes.
And so I would just make just some normalish thing. And when we were there, sometimes like other people would sneakily eat my thing that I was just making instead of the stuff that the hosts were serving. They'd be like, I just want to eat Mark's thing. It's just like a normal
that's
human
when I go
meal.
When I go to weddings
that was there.
Yeah. So
when I go to weddings, I always go to the kids table. I always go to the kids buffet because we're like, screw the real food. Let's get the hot dogs and hamburgers and French fries. It's like way better.
So Elder Goblin Glaze, I think cranberry sauce is highly underrated because number one, I don't think people really appreciate making actual cranberries, which is very easy to make. I mean, it's literally just you add sugar, a little bit of sugar, water, and literally whole cranberries, and then you just kind of cook it and then mash it up. That's the best way. It's got a lot of pectin.
Wait, you didn't answer. What's your favorite, Derek?
Well, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
So because people get it from the can, and that's not great. So just make your own cranberry sauce. But the thing that's really great about cranberry sauce is everything at Thanksgiving is so heavy and fatty and rich. And cranberry sauce, especially when it's made, is very tart and sweet, but especially tart, especially if you make it homemade. The problem with the canned stuff is I think it's too sweet. But I'm not saying that it shouldn't be sweet because it is pretty a tart berry, but that's cranberries, good cranberry sauce. That being said, my favorite thing at Thanksgiving is a dark meat turkey leg with cranberry sauce on it.
You're laying down the foundation for the cranberry. That's what someone just
because it's a great bite of food. It's very rich and fatty, with the crisp skin, but then you get the nice tart sweetness of the cranberry sauce. That's like for me a very, like, you might have mashed potatoes other times of the year. You might have dark meat fowl other times of the year. You probably don't have cranberry sauce admittedly any other time of the year, but that particular bite is for me very holistic. You know, that is undeniably Thanksgiving.
So actually, you would have liked Thanksgiving in my house, Mark, because my brother was a vegetarian. He still is. So my mom would make fish. Actually, she made salmon for us. I don't know if you eat salmon.
I don't know if you know that, but that is not a vegetable.
I do not. But
well,
if you think that vegetarians who are not pescatarians
eat,
if you think
they're what are they called? Pescatarians.
If you think that vegetarians who are not pescatarians eat fish, then you would be in good company with many countries in Asia where saying that you were a vegetarian
or you
it reminds me of
not a way to avoid getting served fish.
It reminds me of that. It reminds me of that thing from.
I do not. I am a vegetarian.
My big fat Greek wedding, where she goes, no, mom. He's a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat. She goes, okay, I make lamb.
Lamb, right? Exactly. No, but we used to have other things that there was a lot of vegetarian options.
Well, no, but it is a messed up thing because, for example, technically, officially, during Lent, you are not supposed to eat meat, but people do eat fish.
Right. Well, exactly.
Which is very strange.
You know what? It depends on the word in different languages, right? So the word, for instance, in Japanese, the word niku or meat does not encompass like chicken or poultry, which is tori, and does not encompass seafood. So if you actually take a phrase book in to Japan, it says that there's like a saishoku thing that you can say that's like, I'm a vegetarian. It'll tell you what to say. You will get served fish. I have been served fish. But if you say a complex sentence where you use niku, tori, and sakana, which is fish, and you just string them together, niku mo, tori mo, sakana mo, taberare masen, which means I cannot eat. You will actually get served vegetarian food, but you can't actually use the word for vegetarian. You have to actually be very specific and name all the things.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these tofurkey. So my brother actually does eat tofurkey.
I have never had a turducken. Have you ever had a turducken?
No, that's so
2000s. Yeah, it's like 2000.
That's so lame. That's so lame to turducken. And first of all, no, we have the traditional Thanksgiving. I mean, actually, I'm trying to think. My wife, what does she make? We have potatoes, lots of potatoes. We had potatoes. She does everything. I mean, you were at my house. You know what's good. You saw her cooking when you were here. She was making some stuff. She was getting ready. I mean, we have all her refrigerators full to the brink. And we only have 10 people coming over. But we eat for 20. Easily. So
yes, Cal. It's where you shove a chicken inside of a duck, and then you shove that inside of a turkey.
Yes.
Turducken. It
sounds disgusting.
And it's all boneless, so they debone everything, and then it's literally just layers of meat.
Well, it was really big in the 2000s. The problem is that it's impossible to really cook correctly because it's very hard to make. So what people do is you make it and then you cook them separately, then put them together. And a bird centipede, it's like
Midgar Press. I was most definitely at PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
Derik was there.
Derik was there the whole time, man, except for the few times he wasn't. So,
well, he
was at PAX Unplugged. That doesn't mean he was at the booth.
I mean, for sure. But I mean, I went to the Daggerheart. Maybe you stopped by when I did go to the Daggerheart presentation seminar, and I ran out to get us lunch once, and a couple times.
Maybe Midgar Press came to our panels, which you weren't at.
That was the one.
Midgar Press. I did not go to any of the panels because I was working the booth.
That's right.
Yeah, someone had to be there, and that someone was Derik and Linda.
There's actually a one that has more in it than the turducken. It's like 6 things. It's like then you get like the Gamish hand. You put that in. It's like he keeps going. It's like the nesting dolls of meat.
I will say now. Listen, growing up, turkey was horrible, and there's a lot of reasons why people badly cook their turkey.
Turkey is terrible.
It is, but if you cook it well, it's really good. And also, let's be
it's 95% chance it's terrible, 5% chance it's fantastic.
Correct. And you do have to know what you're doing, and you have to cook it correctly. And I don't want to get into the details.
By the way, which one won, smooth or crunchy?
You mean the skin?
No, for the peanut butter.
You still have the poll going.
It's blocking my view of.
You can dismiss it.
We ended it.
I didn't see how to
47
dismiss it. I only see report poll and close poll, which I assume would actually close it for
53%
everyone.
smooth, 47% crunchy.
Nice. All right, another 50-50. We are a house divided here in RFC chat. But what I was saying is that while turkey can be made delicious, and I do think turkey is really just a vehicle for serving really good gravy or cranberry sauce, I am, Pumpkin, also a big ham fan, and I do love me a nice spiral cut glazed ham.
We have a spiral cut ham.
How horribly unkosher of you.
Well, I'm not kosher, but it was actually because of one of my in-laws' fathers insisted, and we got it.
I mean, Steven, you're a human. You're definitely not kosher. You don't chew your cud.
Well, hold on, I'm not done. And so we got it once. It was like 10 years ago, and we all tried it. We're like, oh my god, this is so amazing. So after that, we always have it at all of our Thanksgivings. But one of the people coming to our Thanksgiving this year is very kosher. So Val had to find all these new recipes and we're very careful to make as much of it kosher friendly as possible. Obviously not the meat, but
Midgar Press, Jonathan, how many different aliases online do you have? I feel like you have so many. Then
we had a super chat.
Itsy Bitsy Spider said for $10. Appreciate you guys are talking to the chat again.
What does that mean?
We normally not.
Well, I know. I mean, we do normally. And now I have the ability
feel like
to
we
really
normally
talk
do,
to the
but
chat. Yes,
but maybe we're doing it more.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So for me, like the awesome thing about the ham is, it's obviously pre-cooked, so you don't have to worry about fucking it up. And then it comes out, you get the nice hot ham or whatever. It's really good. But then it goes into the fridge, and then for the next couple of days, ooh, that's good picking. That's just like it's like your own personal buffet. You can make sandwiches. You can mix it into a scramble. I like to do it with some eggs, or I just eat. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I just reach in, rip open the foil, and just grab chunks of it off and eat it.
I'm not my dad, he loves turkey, and I don't know why. It's like there's people out there just like, turkey. And it's like, I do not like turkey, but I tell you how about this? Do you do this? I have turkey, but I put hot sauce on my turkey.
Hot sauce, I think, can go on almost anything.
Almost anything, but that's because it has such a weird. It's not great. Sometimes it's. You know what? I figured it out. Hot sauce is great to cover up anything. It's like not so good. Throw some hot sauce. It's delicious.
Well, again, I said I didn't want to go into the turkey thing. People just don't know how to cook turkey. That's all.
No. You need to. Actually, I watched. You know what I watched, Derek? I watched the Alton Brown Ultimates. Yeah, and he did the brine. And he showed exactly how to cook it. And I was like, you know what? That looks like a good damn turkey.
It is.
If there's anyone who knows how to cook, it's Alton Brown. 100%.
But yeah, like I would agree, Pumpkin, like hot sauce on turkey sounds delicious. I mean, that's basically a buffalo chicken sandwich. But on ham, that'd be a little weird. So
I wouldn't put it on ham, but turkey is so plain. It's like putting hot sauce on chicken.
Well, that's why I said, no, let's be clear. We're talking about any light meat. Yeah, white meat. But I mean, that's the same thing with chicken breast. I mean, turkey breast and chicken breast are literally the same thing. The difference is that chickens are much smaller than turkeys. And so people tend not to overcook their chicken. Well, I mean, some people do overcook their chicken, but it's a lot easier to overcook your turkey because it's so much thicker. And in order to get your turkey cooked, most of the meat ends up horribly dry.
They don't know how to cook turkey. Okay. Pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, or pecan pie?
Pumpkin.
You and I actually had this discussion because we drove by.
Yeah. Pumpkin pie.
I am all pecan.
Pumpkin pie. I love pecan pie.
Linda's on team pecan with Steven.
I love number one, I love pecans. Number two, I love sugared roasted pecans.
Oh wait, that's actually a different question. Are you on team pecan or team pecan?
I call them pecans, but
pecan. Actually, there's a chocolate pecan pie is what we have here, and that's
what Linda's favorite.
That's even better. Yeah,
but I don't like chocolate. But I will say this: if you might not know that my pie is pumpkin because it will be covered in so much whipped cream that you might not actually be able to see.
I introduced Derik
to a new food. Turducken.
I introduced you to a new food this weekend. I introduced you to schlag, the new schlag, and you didn't know.
But that was just whipped cream.
Yes, but it's a specific type of whipped cream because it's handmade and hand churned. It's not. You can't buy it anywhere. It's only
Wait, what is schlog?
But it was just whipped cream.
yeah, but it's really good whipped cream. Oh, come on, you ate the whole thing.
Well, yeah, because it's whipped cream, and I love whipped cream. Basically, if I could, and it wouldn't be embarrassing, I would go through Starbucks and I would get a pup cup for just myself. Basically, is what it comes down to. I'm like, can I get?
It's just German whipped cream.
Yes, schlag is German whipped cream.
Can I get a venti? Can I get a venti cup filled with whipped cream?
Mm-hmm. Sure. But we went to a very, very nice dinner, and Derik was not going to get dessert. And then he told me she liked whipped cream. And so I ordered for him. Well, what did I order for you? It was
well, you didn't order. I got a key lime pie.
But then I ordered the extra schlag for you.
Extra schlag.
And you ate it all because you loved it. Because you were like, okay. And then he's like,
well, I love pie and I love whipped cream. And it was both.
There you go. There we go. A little bit
Combined everything Derik likes into one exciting package.
I know. I feel bad for Mark. So, Mark, what's your favorite food, period? Because since you don't have Thanksgiving, you could just eat. I would say for your Thanksgiving, it should just be whatever your favorite food is, just eat that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I normally do. I'll just make some kind of pasta dish usually. Like, Steven, I told you, I'm always up for Italian. What?
I love pasta.
Pasta can be really good. So what I'm thinking of making for this Thanksgiving, because I have more, it's actually going to be at my house, which is I've never had before in my entire life, because it was always at my aunt and uncle's in New Jersey. But then recently it wasn't there, but it was somewhere else. And now we're not hosting it. My other aunt who lives very nearby is hosting it, but the dining room is better for the number of people in the house I'm in right now, which is my parents' house that I'm also at. And so I have access to all my stuff here. So instead of making something basic, I'm probably going to cook with some of these vegan sausages that I have that are really good. They are the only fake meat thing that Linda likes. She hates when you try to do tofu for it or seitan or any of those other things. But field roast chipotle sausages, okay, are actually very good.
Amazing. All you guys like pumpkin pie. No one in my family or Val's family, anyone in our family, immediate or extended, we all hate pumpkin pie. We all hate pumpkin and we hate pumpkin pie. One person wants it or eats it.
So I'm probably gonna make it with that chipotle sausage. And I haven't decided exactly what combination of spices and whether I'm going to use, because the sausage, obviously, it has some juice in it. So if you mix it with, for example, an Alfredo sauce, you wind up with a pink sauce combination from it that has a bit of a kick to it, which is kind of good. And also goes well with cheese. So there's a lot of possibilities here.
I mean, I love pumpkin pie just because I love how it's this completely homogenous mass of deliciousness. But I prefer tart pies, because that's why you should usually use Granny Smith apples or tart apples for apple pie, because it's a nice contrast to the rich buttery crust and of course obviously all the sugar. And so that's why blueberry pie is kind of tart. Cherry pie can be a little tart. Granny Smith's can be tart, but key lime pie I think is really good because it's very tart. I like the contrasts in the flavors. When everything is it's all just sweet, it just becomes mush.
Oh, I love it. I love chocolate cream pie. That's one of my favorites.
That's why I don't like that stuff. It's just
so delicious.
It's just sugary sweetness, fatty sweetness.
Sometimes delicious. I want the tart and sometimes I want the sweet. I can like both.
Delicious.
I like blueberries, although obviously nobody drinks blueberry juice undiluted.
Right. So I'm with Mr. Dragonbane. I could probably eat a whole pumpkin pie by myself.
Wow.
Same with cranberries. Cranberries, if you just ate a bunch of cranberries, it would be too tart on their own.
Correct. Which is why it works well as a dish.
Yeah.
That being said,
or the juice that combines with other things.
I am excited. Blackberries were 10 for $10 at the grocery store today, and I got a lot of blackberries.
I don't know if
they're probably going to go bad soon, but yes, it's a great price.
All right, well then you better eat them all. Hurry.
I will.
Eat them fast.
Well, I normally get apples too, but I didn't get
But
apples
you
because I
guys
have
put
so many
gravy
blackberries.
on the things. I hate gravy.
Berries are one of the things when you get at the store that you have to look at like the most carefully, because a lot of the time the ones at the store like will have a little bit of something that's starting on them, and then it'll all grow into mold quickly. If you have
if you get good clean berries, they can last a while.
Yeah, but how often do you get them being completely clean and good?
So do you like gravy, Derek? Are you a
of
gravy
course.
guy? Oh, I hate gravy. I don't
Gravy
know that many people that like gravy. Now I think about it.
Gravy is the blue collar food of the people, right? It's how you extract maximum flavor, and it's how you extract maximum like usage out of the meals that you're making. So step one is for example, whenever I roast a turkey or roast a chicken or whatever like that, I always use the carcass and I make stock and then I freeze it. So I'm always using turkey and chicken to make stock. Secondly, it's a great way to you roast a chicken or a turkey. You've got all this fond at the bottom, all these roasted, crunchy, wonderful bits. How do you get that flavor? How do you extract that flavor? Well, you deglaze it and then you make it into a gravy. You make it into a sauce. It's like a pan sauce. Who doesn't like a good pan sauce?
Well, there you go.
I am with Steven. I don't like gravy, but also since it's not vegetarian anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't like gravy.
Well, technically, could you make vegetarian gravy? Probably. But it'd be
There's
weird.
something for now and now.
Oh yeah. No. Here,
if you manage to do so, I still wouldn't want to eat it.
You right? The base of a gravy is just butter. It's just a fat and a flour to make a roux, and then you just add vegetable stock, and that's vegetable gravy. There you go.
That's very popular. There's actually mushroom gravy is on a lot of steaks.
In fact,
ironically,
I have 2 packages of Baby Bella mushrooms because I'm going to be making mushroom gravy.
There you go.
There you go.
I don't know. I just find gravy to be really, really buttery. But I also don't butter my bread. I just like eating bread. I'll sometimes dip it in sauces that come with the food that I have, but I don't like put butter on it because it's just so buttery when you do that.
Oh, I love butter. Buttered bread. Yum.
Hard to go wrong.
I know. I'm like, because now I'm starving. I'm not having dinner for another 2 hours. I'm like, oh man. So what do you have? How comes the final question? What do you have the night before Thanksgiving? Because that you have to think about it. What?
I just eat normally.
Oh well, we actually
I eat normally.
Well, we thought about it because we don't have anything we try to have something kind of a neutral palate, something that's not anything. So you know what we have the night before?
What?
So Itsy Bitty Spider got it. Whoops.
Pizza.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what makes sense.
I mean, that's legit.
That's legit.
Pizza
because it's like it's neutral.
It's hard to go wrong with pizza.
It's hard to go wrong with pizza.
Pizza is just an order you can always do, even if you have a large group of people, and pretty much everyone will be able to eat. Yep. There's only one danger when you're ordering pizza for a large group of people. It is if you order 3 pies, and I've often seen this. People order 3 pies and they're like, all right, so we're gonna get like 2 pepperoni, or like 1 pepperoni, 1 sausage, and 1 cheese, or maybe the last one has veggies on it. And you'll always run into trouble unless you police people who are not vegetarians from not eating the one that's cheese, and that you'll run out of ones that vegetarians can eat.
Well, then you just order, if there's vegetarians there and you know that, then order more vegetarian pies.
Yeah, well,
get 4 pies.
For events, I've often seen pies that are split among 3 where people foolishly order 2 that are meat. And they should always order 2 that are not, because the same way Derek was talking about crunchy and smooth peanut butter, there's almost no one who likes pepperoni pizza would not want to eat cheese pizza. In fact, sometimes they just do it anyway, even if they like pepperoni. So you have no problem.
That's why you got to put vegetables on there that like quote unquote normal people hate and stay away from. Like if you put like mushrooms and black olives on it, like people will be like, I'm not eating that. Whereas I love that, but I'm assuming that most vegetarians, 1, would eat it, and 2, if they didn't like it, they would just pick it off.
I know black olives are pretty like pungent, but yeah, I would pick it off. Whereas if you try to pick off meat, there's still like it's been like the juices are all over it.
Correct. The best pizza is pepperoni and banana peppers.
No, my wife would like that. My favorite is pepperoni, and garlic. Lots of garlic.
Like
Garlic is really good.
peppers and onions aren't bad along with pepperoni, but I prefer pepperoni and banana peppers. I love again that nice sharp crunch of the banana pepper really helps cut through the fattiness of the pepperoni and the now
I also like red onion better than like the all the way caramelized onions on a pizza because of like the just like kick of the red onions not being caramelized all the way.
Now, I don't like pineapple on my pizzas, but I actually can appreciate it because, again, it's a nice contrast of flavors and textures, right? It's very sweet and acidic versus a very fatty meat like bacon or pineapple or pepperoni.
I just don't like the texture of pineapple on pizza too much.
I just don't usually go for things that are too sweet on a pizza.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of dessert pizzas, as they say.
Yeah, dessert. Well, yeah. I just like it simple. I like pepperoni. Actually, let me amend that. Pepperoni, hot honey, and
A hot honey pepperoni, or just you don't need garlic. Just hot honey on a pepperoni pizza is real nice.
It is a delicious, and you get the cupped pepperoni, not the flat one. The cupped.
Oh yeah, you got to
one.
get the cup ones. Yeah,
delicious.
If someone is serving something that is called dessert pizza to me, it better be like a cookie that is cut into pizza slices and has things on top of it. If it is actually a pizza with like
there's
dirty things on it in addition to the pizza things, that is gross.
Yeah, there's a pizza restaurant in Vegas in the Cosmo, and it doesn't have a sign, and it's at the end of a hallway that is unlabeled, unmarked, and you have to go down this hallway, and then it's basically a secret passage, and it's called Secret Pizza, and it doesn't have a sign or anything. It's just randomly at the end of this long corridor there is a full pizza counter and deli, and they have a hot honey pepperoni pizza there with the cup pepperoni, and it is so good. And we get it like every time we go.
There you go.
How do they survive with being so hidden?
No,
entirely by word of mouth.
You do not know anything about foodie places.
It's entirely word of mouth. Yes,
all the best places don't have signs and are completely impossible to find.
Look, Tim Fry or Free knows about Secret Pizza. Look at that.
Secret Pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of places like that.
It's not such a secret that like literally no one knows about it. But like the fact is like you could easily miss it because they don't have any signs for it. It's just this long corridor, and then there's a pizza. It's actually a really cool casino, Cosmo. They have a bunch of nightclubs there that are all secret and they're all hidden throughout the facility. Like there's Bruno Mars's private club. You literally, there's a functioning barber shop. Like you can go get your haircut there and everything, like there's chairs, and it's not like a facade. It's like a little.
They serve you pizza while you're getting your haircut.
And then if you go,
I want is
if
when
you go through the barber shop,
a guy comes up and says it's a secret to everybody.
Yeah, if you go through the barber shop, and in the back there's a janitor closet, and if you go through that janitor closet, it's Bruno Mars's exclusive club. It's true. Pretty cool. It's called, by the way, the name of the club, The Barbershop. But yeah, anyway, it's pretty cool.
Too much. Cool.
It looks like Jess is catching up. She was 40 minutes behind, is 10 minutes behind, and agrees that the field roast sausages are good.
Jess,
now, Jess, the apple sages are good, and as are the garlic fennel.
What?
You're talking about Jess in the future.
The Chipotle field roast sausages are the only ones that even Linda likes.
What's the brand?
Field roast. It's called
Field Roast. Because I've had some. No, I haven't had that brand.
So yeah, the apple sage and I think it's garlic fennel or something like that are both good, but Linda doesn't like those, but she does like the Chipotle ones.
Yeah, I feel like sausages are such a frankenfood anyways. I don't really care if they're meat or not. I can't tell the difference.
There was a really funny thing that I think some British news channel did where they brought on like this extremely snobbish sausage connoisseur guy, and they gave him like one like really badly done like vegetarian sausage and then one like very good vegetarian sausage, and it was like the challenge where he's like, I know every sausage and I can tell, and they were like, can you even tell fake sausage from real sausage? And he's like, yes I can. And then he ate both of them, and he gave this long like monologue about this one does not have an like flavor bouquet or whatever terms he was using, and it's obviously wrong, and this one is real sausage. And then he gave this long explanation. They were like, in fact, they were both vegan sausages.
That's so mean.
And then at that point,
Then it
Steven comes in
destroys
and it's like, this is just like when my dad put tuna fish in my
Right,
sandwich.
exactly. That would just destroy his. Like, that you do
Yes.
that to someone,
You
and
saw
that
like his
destroys
face on
your
the thing
self-worth.
because it probably destroyed his reputation as
Yeah,
a
that's
sausage
just-
connoisseur.
That is the definition of gotcha journalism. Gotcha, they're both fake. Ha ha ha.
So, long story short, since it's past 5 o'clock,
Badminton.
no badminton. No, I number one, I don't even think we're playing today, even if we were. But number two, even if he wanted to play, I would have said I'm good.
That's fair.
I'm tapping out. I'm going to go into recovery hibernation mode. Yeah. Plus, we're supposed to get some nasty weather in the next 2 days here in lovely Cleveland, Ohio. Big lake effect system. And we're probably supposed to get 6 to 12 inches of the
no
white
racquetball.
stuff.
Damn.
No racquetball.
That sounds lovely. Hey,
Well,
look, I got my list. I'm going through my list, Derek.
Oh my God, that is.
Going through my list. I'm checking it twice. I actually did half of this list already, by the way.
Any case, I can't remember what I was saying.
Yeah, you were going to say long story short.
Long story short.
Oh yeah, the people are split about the dinosaurs, and I think the key is
And the peanut butter.
and you have to use them. You have to use them judiciously. I think if you just randomly drop dinosaurs in to a campaign, it's going to feel very weird. I think that's my long and my short of it.
Yeah, I think that what we learned from this is that when you're putting dinosaurs into your game, you don't want them to be crunchy, where they kind of stick out in a weird way. You want them to be smooth. So they fit into the world completely. And it feels like they're a part of your actual setting and not just some person like, he. I'll just put in all my favorite things. I like dinosaurs and I like robots. I like these other things, and they're just in there with no explanation.
But we rightfully identify though that there is a mechanical problem with them, which is that they fill this high, level 6 to level 12 range where the PCs have a lot of flying and ranged, like fireballs at really long range, and they
Mind control. Someone mentioned it.
They are
and they usually have weak minds.
They are literally just an animal, and so it's like taking the wolves that you were fighting at level 1 or 2, and you're making them big and you're making them do a lot of damage, but they are functionally the same exact thing because they are just big creatures. Yeah, sure, they have scaly skins or whatever, but they're no different than a bear or a wolf or anything like that, which worked great at levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. But when you start talking about levels 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, suddenly that is mechanically a problem.
Yeah, that's why
It's a significant issue.
Everything.
It's something that Linda had to take into account when she was translating those big giant dino books from D&D to Pathfinder as well, because Pathfinder is more kind of axiomatic about trying to make sure the higher level monsters eventually do get something that they can deal with. But obviously the scientifically accurate version of them had to be scientifically accurate, so the magical versions definitely just got a lot of ranged attacks like Steven was saying.
Well, the thing is, Jess, is a dinosaur is literally just an animal. I mean, it's not, it's not anything particularly special, but you have to go out of your way to make, if you want to make them something special. Now, I do think that you could do that, and you can.
The half fiend one I mentioned before that was in my campaign, or as Jess mentioned, Erzul, the god of evil elemental lord of earth, who is a fossilized dinosaur skeleton, but he's a deity. He's not like a regular T-Rex.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that is a reasonable game challenge is like you have a non-intelligent, basically int 2 animal that is of really high CR that typically doesn't fly, doesn't have ranged attacks, and how do you make that a challenge for PCs who have all of this capability and all of this other abilities? And the answer is it can be very challenging. So I do think you have to be careful. Now, it's a lot different when you take that dinosaur concept and form and you give them hyper intelligence and a flying and a breath weapon and suddenly maybe cast spells, and now you've got a dragon, and now you're dealing with a very different type of foe. Yeah.
By the way,
and Jess brought up a really, really good point, which is that settings that normalize dinosaurs instead of making them in a lost world, but then still treat them like they're this ancient lost thing and talking lore text of like ancient masters of the things. Like, are they ancient? Because they're just here.
Right.
They're just here with the other things.
Right. So if you go with the Dinotopia where, there's just you're treating it like an oxen, instead of having a beast of burden, you have a big, Ankylosaurus or Stegosaurus, dragging your stuff, or the Brontosaurus transport system. Like that could be fine. right? I think in Eberron, right, the halflings of the Talentella Plains ride dinosaurs. It's like the dinosaurs live in that place and they ride them, and so it's normalized, and I think that's okay too. But I personally also though have an issue when we refer to them as dinosaurs. For some odd reason, that feels very anachronistic to me. I don't know why, but like obviously we call them wolves and they're wolves, but like wolves is still a very modern-esque term. Whereas I feel like dinosaurs is kind of weird because it's like we don't have dinosaurs anymore, so they kind of feel fantastic, but there is nothing actually fantastical about them. And it's, again, for me, it's a weird uncanny valley for sure. I'd rather just have like a regular animal or a truly fantastical creature like a griffin or a hippogriff or something like that.
Lots of people quoting Dr. Ian. They spend so much time wondering.
Yep. That's the same quote Steven did earlier on, or was it Derik? Derik did about the Godzilla RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Someone did say do a Cthulhu dino. We have a Cthulhu dino.
We have one. It's actually was written at a time that we thought it was going to go in Strange and Unusual because it was like designed by our newsletter, but it didn't make it in there. But now it is in Elemental Storm.
Yes,
it's basically a Cthulhu dino with tentacles coming out of it. It's called the Eldritch Tyrant. Yes. So it does follow that thing that Derik likes, where it doesn't say Tyrannosaurus or dinosaur in the name of the creature. It's Eldritch Tyrant.
Right. Like it went a long way. Is that in 4th edition they were called behemoths, and I thought that actually kind of made them feel different to me.
But they're not hippopotami.
Jess, of course, agreed with me with the dino mounts. The way to go, because Jess knows. Jess is cool. I like Derik.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Jess was hanging out with us a lot. She was hanging out in the booth.
Yeah,
Derik company.
No, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good times.
We'll talk more about the show next week when we have Jack Packard on here. He had to leave at the last minute if you didn't hear that at the beginning.
Yes, next week we'll have Jack Packard on because he told me, he literally texted me. He says, I have to tell you about something he did at PAX. So I was like, okay, I guess he's very excited. He had some very cool experience.
Sounds really cool. I want to hear about it, but I guess next week.
There's improv. I didn't even know this. Like there's all this like improv events at PAX and Gen Con, and he's professional improv actor. So he does them all. And so he's going to tell us all about the improv that he did, improv events he did.
Sweet. I don't know anything about those. I'm excited to hear about them.
Yes. By the way, Jess is way better than Derik. Just thought I'd throw that out.
That's what Mark T said, not Steven.
Who said that, Derik? Your buddy Mark T. That's nice.
Oh, Mark's a great buddy. Like I said, he abandoned our stream so they could go watch you play Jewel of the Indigo Isles.
I know. And he's like, he really liked it. He goes, what did he say? It's like, it's so much fun or something.
No, yeah. He said, sorry, Derik, I can't. I'll have to catch you on the VOD. He's like, I got to go watch Jewel of Indigo Isle. He's like, it's actually really good or something like that.
And then we had to cancel at the last second because of health problems for someone. So
that is sad.
Yeah. So probably maybe next week.
I don't know if that's my trombone.
Wait, did you just do a drum beat for someone having health problems?
I heard a drum beat.
Oh, I
you did it like health problem.
Wow, that's really nice.
Sorry,
someone's dying and he's doing a sad trombone.
That's the one I meant to do.
That's kind of nasty too.
That's nasty.
All right,
mean.
So, would you rather have this?
Yeah, probably.
I'd rather have nothing. I'd rather
until next time, everyone. If you want to hear Derik playing sad trombones at people being sick, you have to roll for combat.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Roll for combat.
There are a lot of mysteries in life. Who ate all my snacks? Why are women not impressed by my juggling? And what's a unique ancestry that I can bring to my next TTRPG game night? The answer to those questions are, I ate my snacks. They are impressed, but you should have a wide variety of hobbies and interests. And you can find unique ancestries with Battlezoo and their Year of Mysteries. Every month in 2026, Battlezoo delivers a fresh, bizarre, and lovingly unhinged ancestry straight to your inbox. Get ready to spice up your D&D or Pathfinder game faster than a wizard's bad life choices. Why settle for elves again when you can play as 13 unique and bizarre ancestries, such as a grumpy grumpy Sasquatch, a sea serpent with anger issues, or a dinosaur person, a guy ceratops, a girlosiraptor, a human saurus rex. You don't have to use any of these names, but you do get to play as a dinosaur with a great sword, and that seems awesome.
But Jack, this is the Year of Mysteries, so let's get mysterious. With each new ancestry, every month you'll also find a puzzle. Solve each and input the solution at Battlezoo.com to slowly reveal the year-long secret and become a seeker of mysteries. There's a leaderboard for puzzle solvers, and if you solve all 12, you'll earn a free prize as you unlock the final truth, as well as one last secret you can add to your games. What could it be? The color of my underpants?
Mine have pictures of fish on them. Head on over to yearofmysteries.com and start uncovering the clues today.
I can juggle for a long time.